What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday night. It is the pub, the International Pub. I missed you last week, and I really did miss you. But life got in the way, as will happen sometimes, and I'm back this week. Thank you for being here, everybody. Last Dance, thanks, buddy. RW, good to see you, man. And look who's in the chat, Anna. All right, cool. Good to see you, too. Thanks for being here. You're not going to come on, join us on screen? That's okay. Let me just check here. All right. Got a like from Last Dance for tweeting. Let's see if I can get this phone charging. Like I said, I missed a week, but all is well. So we're back. Why is it that some phone chargers plug in completely normally, but it says 4 hours to charge? And then the same, I don't know. Yeah, these things are designed to fail, I guess, right? Let's see what's going on here. We got a little back and forth. It seems like they start off strong, all of them, right? And then they fail. And it's that first time when you have a great phone charger and then you plug it in and nothing happens. Your phone doesn't give you the little indication that it's being charged. And you got to wiggle it a little. And then it starts to charge, but the connection isn't right. Then it gives you the warning of use the charger that you got when you bought the phone, and this isn't the original charger. Yeah, and it's like it just never lasts. Total pain in the butt. Because, of course, my good charger is out yonder in the vehicle. Yeah, it'll work if you jump on your phone. A lot of people have done that in the past, and it works completely fine. A lot of interesting stuff going on I'd like to cover this week, including but not limited to Donald Trump and his criminal proceedings that are taking place in various different areas. You guys haven't mentioned the sound, so I'm going to just assume that it's good. Thumbs up from you two. Thank you. I don't have a list. I'm just going from my brain. So, yeah, a mental list, I guess. Donald Trump, the fact that possibly a few students from Harvard are not going to be able to get their diplomas, or they were not allowed to. They will graduate, I assume, and it will just not, it will be a somewhat discreet mailing of the diploma, I guess, because of their civil disobedience and regarding setting up an encampment on the campus of Harvard. And also, apparently they followed some people around that may have been of dissent of the people that they were protesting against, possibly Jewish students, and harassed them, which is complete horseshit. You can't. Protesting is one thing, but interfering with other people's freedom of passage and general comfort and not feeling threatened is not protesting. That is, I think, criminal. It becomes a criminal act, and that includes blocking roads. I know some people may not agree with that, but yeah. That's life, but not as we know it. Good to see you. The inmates are well. Thank you, man. Johnny Grammaticus, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. And cup of tea. What is up, you crazy mofo? Good to have you. Thanks for being here. I know I missed a week, so I'm glad you guys found your way back to me. I only have a limited amount of viewers to begin with, so nice to see that you came and found me again. I appreciate y'all. Thanks. So yeah, we'll get into all of that and more. and more. Mr. Kelsey Wan here a little bit early. We are well. I hope you're well too. I did notice you checked in on Random Goons stream last night, Mr. Kelsey Wan, and it was a good one. Always check out Random Goon on Friday. His channel on Twitch is called Random Goon, and he does requests on guitar-focused show using Guitarsmith 2014, and it's a lot of fun. Hang around, good people there in the chat, and of course, Goon is always game for reading comments. And if you can, you kick him a buck. If you're not, you just hang out. He likes the support, so all good. Chris John Wright. Election on July 4th in United Kingdom. Okay, right on. Is election on July 4th in United Kingdoms? If you're asking me, no, you're not. You're just saying that. It kind of looks like a question. But you are in Wales, so quick, Chris in Wales, right on. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. As RW says, welcome back. It is. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. July 4th for their elections. Okay. Interesting. And July 4th will be a, let's see, what is July 4th for day of the week? Thursday. Interesting. Thanks, Cup. Yeah, hit that like button. I always forget to say that. Yeah. Anna says here she learned from her live leak times, and originally that's where a lot of us that are here originally kind of that was like the nexus for us getting together in a way. Originally, of course, it was one of the founders of Live Leak. His name was Hayden Hewitt. Occasionally, I mean, rarely, he blesses us with his presence on here. And if he's watching this right now, he's going to say, oh, for fuck's sake, and click on and appear out of nowhere, which I always love to have the guy. He's great. But she says that no one protects me or anyone who opposes official narratives. Corona reaffirmed this impression. That's an interesting take. I did hear Bobby Kennedy Jr. talking about this recently. He said basically he was at a rally during Corona and he was relaying the story. I'll relay it in the words that he used to my recollection. He said everybody at this rally was there. The only people wearing a mask were the NBC crew. Someone from the crew asked him, are you afraid of dying? And his response, as he said, and I'm quoting in this story, was, I am afraid of dying, but there are things that are worse. And the person from NBC said, what? And he said, living like a slave. So in his mind, living like a slave under the rules or whatever you want to call them, essentially, of COVID, to him was living like a slave. Be right back, no problem. Which I found to be interesting. I don't know if she's going to be here. If we can go ahead and DM him on X. If anybody wants to, you can let him know that we're rolling. I'd love to see the guy. He generally comes and goes as he pleases, Chris. So I don't have an answer to that. in general, don't communicate too frequently with him outside of the pub, but on occasion we will DM each other. But it's been a few weeks for that. Okay. I don't know what's going on with your elections over there, but I'm certainly intrigued. And I think there's a big swing in Canada. Okay, yeah. See, this is like inside Britain stuff. Maybe Last Dance has a little bit more grasp on it than I do when it comes to your elections. I'm gathering that you guys don't have, like from what I'm reading here, that you don't have a set election date. It appears Cup of Tea is saying he doesn't need to call an election for 6 months more. So it appears to be sort of a fluid date. It's nothing set in stone like here. It is set in stone for November when the voting will happen. And of course, January 6th, when the inauguration will occur. So there's no set election date. Yeah, I gather. All right. Okay. Then January 20th. There you go. Thanks, buddy. January 6th, I guess, is when what would that day signify? For rioting. Oh, of course. Yeah, it's our national day of rioting. I see. Thank you, Cup. Appreciate that. Perfect. Very good. Yeah, I don't even have the dates down, obviously, here for our stuff, but just did a little shot of rum upstairs before I came down. That was the delay of 1 minute, finding a clean shot glass and having a shot of Deacon Giles spiced rum, which I did not like in a cocktail, but I love straight. It's very odd. It's not a good one. I think it's too spiced. You put it in with the fucking juices or whatever. I don't even know what I was making with it, but it was too strong tasting for a mixed drink, that is. But straight up, very smooth, very nice. Absolutely glorious stretch of weather here. I don't know how you guys are doing, you Southern boys, but up here in New England, it's been fabulous. Been to the beach a bunch. I think I got some color. Yeah, I've got a little bit of color. Jesus. Sorry. Headphone warning. Drop the pipe on the computer. Whatever the result is, it's gonna be a shit show. Both parties are two cheeks of the same ass. Well said. I think we somewhat have that problem here. I'm not happy with either candidate here. Frankly, with anybody who's in that level of politics, I'm pretty disillusioned with. Wales might turn completely red this time. That would be disastrous. Interesting. Other colors switched for you because here red would be Republican, obviously, and conservative. In the UK, is it the opposite? Not sure if it, I'm guessing that it might be, but I'm not positive about that. You guys can clarify. Red is very liberal, I'm assuming. From that, red is commie. Yeah, so red would be way over yonder on the left. Okay. They are switched. Cool. Yeah, so for you guys, you say labor instead of liberal, which is funny because a lot of the working class have become conservative here, although unions traditionally have voted Democrat as a group. Oftentimes when you speak to individual union members, they're conservative and they don't necessarily always vote with their union. So it's not as though when a candidate gets a union endorsement that every union member is going to vote for them or is required to, because you can choose whoever you want when the curtain's drawn and you're in that voting booth. And I do think that there's some fans of Trump for sure that are union people, a great group of them for sure. I know a lot of Teamsters are, that's for one, and that is a massive union. And that includes, I think, a lot of grocery store workers. And of course, any driver who's unionized is going to be a Teamster. Green is ultra commie. Okay. Got it. Thank you, Alan. Son of the bitch and watermelons. I don't know. Can you guys even get watermelons in the UK? I haven't seen a good watermelon yet here in New England, but they're probably ripe down south. Yeah, where you are. I got you. I love a watermelon. I don't know if we should be talking about watermelons. It's a certain connotation. Uh-oh, I touched the screen. What did I just do? Copilot, what is that? AI? Don't like it. Now you got yellow. Jesus, you guys got a lot of colors over there. Oh yeah, man. I've always wanted to grow a watermelon, but I don't think we have the right environment for it up here, the right terroir. You vape watermelon, cool. I know we obviously can grow awesome pumpkins in New England, so we have the ability to grow large ground, I guess a pumpkin. I don't know, is a watermelon and a pumpkin, are they both fruits? Are they vegetables? I don't know. The whole fruit vegetable thing is kind of all crazy. They're both fruits. Okay. Yeah, see, a lot of people would consider a pumpkin to be a vegetable, but if it has a seed inside it, it's a fruit. So that would mean a cucumber is a fruit. Okay. So all peppers, habanero, ghost, all fruits. So like vegetables would be lettuce, things of that nature, spinach, broccoli, because the seed is on the outside of the flower, I guess. I don't know. Roots. Okay, yeah, carrots. We got 8 carrot plants going here, so interested to see how those things turn out. If anything, if they're weird or bizarro, right to the horse barn. Because, that's how we bribe the horses to be nice to my kid. We bring them carrots, and then they're all happy. In fact, one week I didn't have a carrot, and the friggin' horse, Larry, was grumbling and shaking his head and shit. I'm like, he knows I don't have a carrot, this fucker. And he did. He was off the whole lesson. So, yeah, you better make sure you have a damn carrot for your horse, or else he's going to buck you. Yes, I don't know. Okay, yeah, so there's a huge thing about what's a vegetable, what's a fruit, and clearly most of them are, there you go, Cup, most of them are fruits. Yeah, I went to a farm as a little kid, from the inner city. We went and the first thing I saw was this hayseed eating a tomato like an apple, and I was like, yep, farm country. That was normal to this kid. He was like my age. I couldn't talk to him. I was like, wow, he's eating a tomato in his hand. He's so different from me. But yeah, even today I wouldn't do that. I do love tomatoes. The harvesting smoke would be fun to watch. I did a harvest of the tomatoes. It's on my YouTube channel from last year. There was a rabbit involved. It was like the Monty Python scene from the Holy Grail. This rabbit was fast. Moved the camera. The rabbit had moved. It was crazy. Check it out. I think I'll do more of them. And again, you'll see in the video the mosquito problem I have. I get swarmed when I'm out there. And I hate chemicals, so I used to spray that crap all over the place in the bushes. You attach your garden hose to it and spray it to kill mosquitoes. I don't do that anymore, and I might have to. And I don't like to put off, which is, DEET, which I don't think is great to have on your skin, but I don't know. Got to do something, man. Yeah, Last Dance is a vegetable expert. Exactly. It sucks getting swarmed. Trying to have a peaceful 5 minutes to pick some vegetables, and then all of a sudden you've got smack your leg, you've got blood all over your hand. It's like a whole nightmare scenario. I know. All right. Heard some interesting facts. Yeah, horse dung, sure. I think that'll keep the predator away as well. About avocado farming, the amount of, ironically, like living things that have to be killed to maintain an avocado farm, everything from squirrels to multiple different species of insects, some on purpose, some indirectly, but it's quite staggering how some forms of farming vegetables require you to actually kill a lot of living things. I know, tree rats, I hear you. But it's sort of a thing that's often overlooked in circles of people who are vegetarians or vegan, that it displaces, or the act of farming certain things in certain areas does kill living things. You're not killing them to eat them, you're killing them to maintain a healthy crop, and that's just part of farming. I've never had squirrel, but I heard it's tasty. All they do is eat nuts. I mean, it's got to be good. Good meat, that is. Like I told you a few weeks ago, I had a damn squirrel that figured out the squirrel baffle, and he was getting my bird seed, but I have since remedied the situation by adjusting the baffle and not killing the squirrel. So I generally try not to. Yeah, we had some small critter chew some wires up in our Jeep, and that cost $500 for them to do some friggin' rigging job where I probably could have done it. He spliced the wires together and got the thing running again. And then I took a pretty strong, I don't know if that was a squirrel or what, but I did something I normally would never do, and I put poison around the area of the cars, poison blocks. Probably ended up killing various things through the food chain, up to and including, predators and hawks and stuff that I love. So no, I haven't seen any. In fact, I haven't seen that cat since then. Huh. Well, yeah, hence the reason why I don't like to do that. But it's an expensive repair. I mean, it sucked for sure. All right, let's get this thing rolling. After I play just a little bit of guitar, play some acoustic. fixing the noise situation. Shut the door. That should help a little bit with the fan. For the lead role in a cage. Pink Floyd, great song right there. The Grumble Cat. All right. Hey, wife, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Right upstairs. Just had another one in mind before I got distracted. Tune, anybody? Anybody? 3, 4. rock and roll. Oh, finger plucking. You like Mr. E? Good to see you, man. Little finger picking action. Quick guitar lesson. So you might notice that in some old time ragtime or some blues, guys will finish on like a descending scale. And then this is the major chord that the song would be strummed in, and then you throw this baby in. That leaves them hanging. That's called the seventh chord, or the sort of an old school way of finishing a song. You throw the seventh chord in at the end. All right, let's get this baby rolling. Thanks for being here, Mr. E. Good to see you. I'm going to fix the sound settings and get you guys on here. It's magic.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
All right, how you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. Good to be back on.
Yep.
It was a long span, but just something that had to be done for things that I had going on. But glad to be back here. So good, very good. Good to see everybody here, Mr. E. I don't think I recognize that name, but possibly a new person, which is cool. How's things been for you?
A little rough. Lately, I've been putting off my shingles vaccination. You know, my doctor says I should get it, so I finally got my first shingles vaccine, and it really clobbered me. And so
You're supposed to get another?
Yeah, you're supposed to get two. I got my
glutton for punishment, for Christ's
Well,
sake.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm complaining too much. It's one day that I felt terrible, maybe like 12 or 14 hours.
Okay, so you've recovered now?
Not 100%. It's still getting some fever and associated chills.
And you got it on Thursday or Friday?
I got the shot on Friday, and Saturday I started feeling just terrible the whole day.
Which is today.
Today's Saturday?
Yes.
Well, then I must have gotten it on Thursday.
Mm.
And Friday I must have.
They all blend together when you retired, right?
Yeah, they do. But it must have been Thursday, because it wasn't bad the day I got it, and then the next day I felt pretty poor. Quite a fever and achiness, like I had the flu, and then feeling a little better that evening, and then today was okay, but not
tolerable. It's just himself. He's talking about.
It's not that vax. It's a different vax.
It's his own experience. It's not vax talk. The vax hour. Yeah, I mean, do you know what it is? Is it just a dead version of the shingles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a dead version of the herpes zoster virus.
So it's like old school vaccine. None of this weird gene editing stuff.
It's just chicken pox.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. You ready to come on, RW? I see a hobbit standing next to you. Is he okay for camera? All right, I'll wait. Good? I think he's got a banjo.
He's got something.
All right, I'm
It
adding
is a
you on.
banjo.
All
Hey
right,
guys, thanks for asking if the Hobbit should be on. That's appreciated.
no problem.
You gonna be picking a tune for us?
Yeah, so I never play this. I bought it as a midlife crisis, and I've had it behind me enough that I figured I might as well just play it once for the show so that we can write it off. I don't know. Can you tell me if it's picking everything up?
Yes,
Is it choppy?
little choppy, but it's good, pretty good.
All right, I'll do a small ditty. That's about it.
This is cool, man. Is that a 5-stringer?
Yeah, it's the Remo off of Amazon. It's like $300, but for the quality for $300, it's amazing.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, I've never really played one. I know they make a 6-string version that's strung similar to a guitar. That, in my mind, that's kind of cheating. You got to get the original one with the weird string with the key that's halfway up the neck. You know, that's like the real banjo.
Yeah, it's a very different experience. And if you start with guitar, you got to throw everything out the window every time you pick it up because it's so different.
Right.
That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the bass is the same as guitar note-wise, so it's a simple transition, obviously.
Yeah.
And Greg being coy, like he doesn't know LL is LL Bean. That's how we all got together, fans of their clothes. It's Live Leak.
I missed that memo.
Yeah. Mr. E says he's old school, different name from Live Leak. And yes, Biscuit Vapes is doing great. He's a good dude. I agree, Mr. E. He's a great guy. And when he joins us on here, which is rare these days, it's a treat for sure. He's a good cat. Doing a lot of fishing. He's lost a ton of weight. Super healthy now.
When's the last time you heard from him? I haven't seen him in a while.
He was on, I want to say, maybe 10 weeks ago, Last Dance, 3 months, something like that. He came on, he got hammered, and
got into it. He got into it last time.
Yeah, and I think he even like apologized later in like the Discord, and we were all like, "Ah, you're fine, dude. No.
Your apology is not accepted."
Because it's not necessary. There's never.
It's a pub.
Yeah, and if you do something that's apologize worthy, then or apology worthy, then you're pretty much out. That's it.
Ooh.
And so it, generally nothing gets to that level unless it's like, DEFCON 5.
I've never seen it. I've hung out with you guys for probably a year now. I have never seen it.
Exactly. It's reared its ugly head a few times when I've lost my cool. Probably remembers. Pretty funny shit. The review on the new headphones, by the way, I love them. The sound is incredible. They gave me a fucking 9-foot cord with these things, and it's like obscenely long, but the sound.
So you can be in the bathtub.
I don't know what they were thinking. He broke something with it because it wrapped around my foot, and I got up and it pulled the glass off the table. It was fucking bullshit, dude. Like, these are made for a studio where you might be walking around a little. You might, need a little room to move, maybe from board to board or from an instrument to an amp or whatever. But the sound, like with music, is incredible. It's a little annoying to hear everything in the background, but in another sense, it's kind of nice because I can be aware of what's going on in a room and not be completely like shut off from the outside world. So I would definitely recommend them. But like the music, and they're made for mixing in stereo, for mixing music, for like recording and mixing.
Can you hear the cowbell on "Don't Fear the Reaper"?
You can hear everything, man. Like I've never noticed before. A lot of stuff, like in the original recording of Riders on the Storm by The Doors. Jim Morrison talks the lyrics as he's singing them, and you can really hear him talking under the vocals. He did a whole track of him just talking the lyrics, and it's like half the volume of the sung ones, and with these on, you can really hear it. I noticed that a long time ago when I was tripping in college. I was like, holy shit, Morrison's talking. You can hear him. And other people were like, yeah, you can. With a really good speaker turned up, you can hear him speaking like the lyrics under the vocals.
Why is he speaking?
I think it was probably one of those things he said, let's do this. It'll trip people out, man. Like this is this psychedelic time. This is when people were probably starting to experiment with recording. And, Zeppelin back then was switching like left to right in the middle of a guitar solo and switching back and forth. So Jimmy Page's guitar is panning from one side to the other. And that, these were like innovative things at the time, speaking the lyrics underneath as you're, sing the track over them. Maybe it was something he said, it'll add a layer of depth to it and something you'll just barely be able to hear. I think it's a cool idea.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Where is he in the time relation to the Beatles?
Near the end of the Beatles, the Doors really got huge, I guess, right?
And it's near the end of the Beatles that the Beatles also started to do that same type of layering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Revolver was 1966, which would constitute their first psychedelic album.
Very early.
Well, yeah, but definitely a different Beatles by then.
Yeah. I mean, early in the sense of rock and roll, like they were definitely the innovators, the pioneers, for sure. Often people only look at the Beatles as, well, the music isn't that complex, this, that, and the other thing. They were kind of inventing the whole thing. They were really the ones, in my opinion, that came up with a lot of the things that are still done in rock and roll.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking amazing. And the music was good. I noticed they just released a newer video for Let It Be, or a new version of the video for Let It Be with the alternate camera angles. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Pretty good. Same song. Just different camera angles, different video. Pretty cool.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, Paul looks, amazing back then. In his prime, obviously. He was young.
Yep. And thank you for playing that on the guitar.
Sure. Glad you noticed. What were you going to say?
Wish You Were Here was the first tune you played, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just curious if Dan has tried high-end headphones. I never have. My sister creates music, and she says, "Can you listen to these songs for me?" And then she says, "Oh wait, what kind of microphone or headphones do you have?" And I was like, "This." She's like, "Never mind." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't even know that there was a whole range of like. So have you seen the high-end range, Dance, yourself?
I don't know. I mean, these headphones are about $80. I don't know if they're considered high-end or not.
What is the make and model?
It's a Sony.
Oh, it's a wired.
Yeah. I mean, those have to be at least mid-range.
Yeah,
they are.
Probably mid-range.
Wired have come down significantly in price. $80 wired headphone could be a $300 wireless, Don Browning, good to have you. And
I was a Moody Blues fan before I was a Beatles fan.
morning, Don.
I never heard much of the Moody Blues.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I was not really that interested in music when I was in my teens. I mean, you'd put it on the radio, you'd enjoy it, and that was the depth. And then, as went off to college on my own for the first time. One of the guys in the dorms was a Moody Blues fan. He'd play his albums, and I'd listen to it all the time, and instead of studying. And
well, you're still studying, just different stuff.
Yeah, and really fell in love with the Moody Blues.
Would you? Is it considered jazz based on its name?
No, it's funny. I don't.
I think
it's not blues. It's certainly Moody, but that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where the name comes from, but yeah, they were. They started in the '60s, but they really hit their. They really had like 5 or 6 albums in a row that were from like 67 to 73 or something. That were quite a collection of fantastic music. They stayed together for like decades and put out lots of stuff. And I don't know, some people liked it, but I liked the psychedelic Moody Blues of the late 60s and early 70s. So that was my...
What album do you recommend?
Well, my favorite was In Search of the Lost Chord. It's kind of the hippiest album.
Which is the one that Knights in White Satin came off of?
That's...
that song is hard.
That's their first... that's their first real album. It's... God, I can't remember. Yeah, it was the first album of the modern incarnation of the Moody Blues.
Yeah.
They're still putting out albums in 2023, or at least a single, unless that's just a redo. Are they alive?
2 of them are dead. So 2 of the original 4, 5 are have passed.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they're at the level now where they'd be doing like a PBS special or something like that.
yeah, well, they're
I know Dance would be watching.
yeah,
$50. $50.
Yeah.
I got it. I'll check that later on Spotify.
Yeah,
Starting with The Departure.
Never been a big fan myself. They'd never been popular on the radio, really. On modern classic rock, you'd never hear them. Maybe oldies stations, but there are no more oldies stations. Classic rock is now oldies, so it's not like there's any more stations that play music from the 50s and early 60s. Buddy Holly, you never hear that stuff anymore. It's just gone, that format. Probably because the people who listen to it are as well, maybe not really around. Who knows?
Yeah, they really, the Moody Blues didn't have many hits. They had 2 from that first album. Nights in White Satin is one, and Tuesday Afternoon is another. And they had a couple others. Ride My Seesaw.
Tuesday Afternoon's better than Nights in White Satin, I think.
I certainly. I like the whole album. They were into album rock. There wasn't a collection of songs. It was, these albums had a theme, and
right.
It really is enjoyable to listen to the first song and go all the way to the end. So that was true for most of their albums.
Yeah. Topple says he heard Pearl Jam on the oldies a few days ago. I mean, I heard they play Pearl Jam on the classic rock station here in Boston, WZLX,
Oh, man.
which is everything from, they'll play Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, even newer Soundgarden songs. So it's not classic rock. I don't think anything before anything 1990 or after, I don't think should be classified as classic rock. 80s, I'll give it. I'll give it away. That means Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction would be considered classic rock by my rules.
Days of Future Past. That's the name of that album.
Okay, Dawn
have you guys-
Browning
Go ahead.
saying I think she's naming some Moody Blues tunes
Yes.
Albums.
or albums.
Question of Balance is a great album. Seventh Sojourn is kind of right where I begin to lose, I get less interest. And that's kind of the transition point for me.
Oh, who is it? It's
I
our
have a
resident
transition,
insect.
For sure, with certain artists. Hey, Aphid.
Aphid Lip.
What was your-
glad you
what was that
survived.
Yeah. What was your sentence that you just said? Your vibe of music? I didn't hear the first time.
Oh, there are a couple bands where I can relate on the band transitioned, and it's like after that you're like, ooh, and you're done. Like the
Yeah.
Beatles, for me, when they did their pop music, I didn't like any of it, but when they transitioned into the more experimental rock music, that's when I was like, I can get down with this. So that's one example.
Sure, I agree with that.
Have you guys ever heard of Humphreys McGee?
I haven't listened to a ton of them, but I have heard of them.
That's the last band and that was back in the late 2000s. A friend showed me that, and it was the last band I experienced where I learned something. I learned an aspect of music. It was so different. It's just a jam band, but I've never seen a jam band before that had two drum sets on the stage that are experimental in that way,
Right. I mean, the Allman Brothers Band and the Grateful Dead both had two drummers.
Well, I don't know much about those bands, but I mean, the Grateful Dead following I see tattoos everywhere I go.
Old, wrinkly tattoos.
Old wrinkly deadhead tattoos. But you look at them, it's like you lived a life of doing whatever you want. I know it. I can see in your neck tattoos.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Eighth Lip Minute. Yeah, we could use one. Anytime the man wants a minute, he can have it.
It only takes 30 seconds, though, I'm told.
That's funny.
Now he's got to get on early. How can you not like Seventh Sojourn? It has For My Lady on it. You're a misogynist, apparently.
But with a laugh afterwards and a heart, so. You joking misogynist.
He's cool with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have some stuff too on a list. What I mean, I don't want to jump straight into like philosophy or whatever, but I have a couple things.
All right, we'll keep that at the ready. I just want to get this comment. I think he's kidding.
No, he's serious. He complains all the time about the Beatles.
Well, you mean the band or just your personal kinks?
No, the band.
No, the Kinks. Yeah, Lola. Whatever else. What else did they have?
He said this before. This is not the first time he said that the Kinks are more significant than the Beatles.
All right, what era is the Kinks?
The same era.
Old. They
60s.
It's the Davies brothers, right?
Yep.
I mean, they definitely survived. I think they were alive until fairly recently.
Yeah.
What else did they have besides Lola?
That's all I know.
Oh, they had a lot of songs. We are not two, we are one.
Okay.
Can't remember. I don't know if that's the title. That's the lyrics, though.
Girl, I Want to Be With You. Is that the Kinks?
Girl, I want
That sounds right.
you.
Yeah, that's the Kinks.
All right. Yeah, I can. Hard to find anyone above the Beatles. I want to say I know the Stones have a song called like Monkey Man or something like that. But the Kinks have one similar. I can't remember the name of it. Aphid left with a comment here. The Kinks are great, but it's hard to put anybody above the Beatles. and he's not the biggest fan. Yeah, I mean, you could argue the Rolling Stones on longevity.
Yeah.
The Beatles just they burned out too early, and then of course John Lennon got assassinated by that bastard. And,
Imagine there's no Beatles. I wonder if you can.
John Chapman.
Mark David Chapman, right?
Mark David Chapman. Yeah.
He's free now.
Is he?
Yeah, I believe so.
Living in a bunker somewhere, probably.
I don't know.
I know he was eligible for parole, but I thought the family, the Lennon family, opposed him getting parole, not just out of vengeance, but because they didn't feel safe with him out there.
Well, that gentleman said he killed him because he heard the voices in his head told him to. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
It's not him.
Oh, you know what? Who's the guy who tried to kill Reagan?
Oh, yeah, that's Hinckley.
I think Hinckley is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Hinckley is out.
Hinckley's out. Mark David Chapman is up for parole this year, so they're close to the same age.
Yeah.
Both crazy. I can't believe Hinckley's out.
I mean, I guess I know people have the ability to change, but I mean, what neighbor is going to be stoked about him moving in next door? Like, oh, the guy that killed Paul. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Invite him for potluck.
Oh, I hear you, man. It's similar to an argument. You know, you wouldn't necessarily know. Obviously, you would know because of his name, but there is no murderer list. There's a sex offender list,
right.
But there's no murderer list.
No,
there should be a murderer list.
There should be.
You know,
I agree.
I mean, I'm not laughing at it, but it's just a funny thing. Like, yeah, if they reoffend, they kill somebody else, which, you know, is also should be a warning to the people who live around them, you know?
Yeah.
I'm told that at Halloween, sex offenders have to have a blue pumpkin on their porch. And I'm curious if, like, murderers have to have, like, a blood red pumpkin or something. It'd be good, significant for the children to be like, yeah, we want candy, but not that kind, not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny for sure. But they probably I don't know what the rules are for people like that. You know, and if you ever go on there and you see the amount of people that are out there in society, there's a lot of them, you know. It's fucking scary, man.
I haven't looked at lists lately. I'm in the middle of nowhere, so everybody here carries a gun. If anything like that happens, it's God's country. It's a little different.
It should be.
I'm just curious how your gardens are doing, guys. Ours are starting to roll. So if you guys have anything going outside, it's popped by now. Curious how they're doing.
Mine's well. Good.
I don't have much of a garden.
Flowers,
few flowers, some lavender.
Anything you cherish?
Huh?
Anything that you cherish?
Yeah. You know, I enjoy it all. You know, I like the irises when they come up, but they're just basically finished. And the yarrow stays yellow for a while, so I like that. The azaleas are beautiful when they bloom, but then they're done, and they're not there that long.
They're quick, yeah. I met an old lady that lived up on Ocean View in Hawaii, Big Island, and every plant on her property, she was older, and every plant basically had a person attached to it, a memory. Every plant was a memory of a person. And so I adopted that and have, like, the butterfly bushes is Nana's because it's actually a cutting from her property from like 30 years ago and stuff like that. So I have a deep, there's a lot of meaning to me as I walk around the property. I enjoy being in that space.
That's cool. Do you have any bee balm?
Any what?
Bee balm.
I'm not familiar with that.
I think we do.
That's a good one for things that like nectar and stuff like that.
Yeah, Rachel Rachel planted this. It's a bushy plant. I don't know if it was bee balm.
Bee balm is like these deep,
It's
dark
like a flower.
red flowers. Yeah,
No,
they're
that
like,
was. It's
or
pretty
low.
colorful, but it's not red.
There's purple and pink and red. It looks like there's different options here.
It's purple, the one I'm thinking of. I'll just ask her.
It's a great plant. I do recommend bee balm because if you don't have a hummingbird feeder, then this thing is like your second best thing to a hummingbird feeder. They'll be all around it.
Right.
I just saw a hummingbird just before I came on at some. They were at a flower I have that blooms. It's a spring bloom, but a couple flowers hang on. I don't know what it's called, but there was this hummingbird just going at it. The few flowers that were still left.
You don't have a hummingbird feeder? I'm surprised.
No, I don't.
Not interested.
You get everything's a hassle, right? Hummingbird feeder. You got ants, right?
Yeah, you get a few ants.
I don't know. It's
some people more than others. Yeah.
You mix. It is tough. You mix a quarter cup of sugar with 1 cup of water, dissolve, and then you fill the feeder with it And yeah, you have to wash it out every 4 or 5 days, or else it ferments in there, and then you get drunk hummingbirds, and you lose an eye, and you're fucked up for life.
They tear you up.
So
they get angry too when you run out.
You can't do that, right? I took the hummingbird feeder away the other day. I thought I saw a tiny spot of mold in it, and wife was like, "Yeah, where's the hummingbird feeder?" The hummingbird was sitting in the tree, like staring at the shepherd's hook on the deck, like, "Where's my feeder?"
pissed.
My world is over.
Yeah, it felt horrendous. So of course, I put the damn thing back up.
There's only 2 this year. Last year there was about 20. I don't know if you guys are noticing less where you are, or if they're just not up here yet, or what.
I am noticing less. We usually have way more. So yeah.
Okay.
And they fly across the Gulf of Mexico. It's like 500 miles over water. The ruby throat does. So if they hit a storm or something, a lot of them can die. So
I know that something happened to make the oranges knocked out. I don't know if it was a storm or anything like that would have taken out the hummingbirds at the same time, but I'm curious.
Possible.
Have you guys ever watched documentaries on hummingbirds?
I have.
Yeah.
I know that
they're the only bird that can fly backwards.
Mm-hmm.
They go into a hibernation at night where their heartbeat, because they consume calories so quickly in their normal setting that if they would sleep at night, they'd starve to death. So they actually have to slow their heartbeat down to a trickle, and then it gives them enough time till the morning, and then they'll wake up and their heart will start to beat faster, and then they'll get back to it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. There's some cases of these hummingbirds in South America that are up in elevation that their freaking heart goes down to like 1 beat per minute or something at night, and it takes them like an hour to wake up.
Yeah.
And that's like the extreme hummingbird, but all hummingbirds go through some version of that. It's almost, I think the word might be torpor, Torpor. It's not hibernation. It's like a short term.
Not my vocabulary.
Yeah, it's a weird word, but yeah, it's an evolutionary trait that they have developed to stay alive. Pretty cool.
I would love to be able to do that in college, just to get through the lectures and then not waste my life away.
Well, we might as well stay on bird talk. Have you guys ever seen a northern shrike? Do they make it down to your neck of the woods in the winter?
Is that a water bird though?
No, it's a small bird about the size of a blue jay, but it's gray, has like a mask, and it basically hunts small birds and mice and stuff.
The
I
closest
don't know if it makes it down here, but I've never seen one.
I've never seen that bird here. We saw a great northern crested flycatcher for the first time yesterday. That's kind of like a yellow belly and a little crest. Looks like the titmouse kind of with a yellow crest, with a yellow.
Yeah, I
belly.
know them. They're great. They have a really unique shrill call. It's kind of funky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
My-
cool to.
They're loud. They make their presence known.
My daughter
just-
tells me the bush I have is called a butterfly bush.
Yeah, they smell amazing. They're awesome.
Cool.
Oh, dang it.
The northern shrike will, if you have like a barbed wire fence nearby or a long thorn bush that keeps its thorns through the winter, the shrike will catch and kill its small mammals and stick them on the thorns or the barbs of a fence for food. So it continues to kill and then eats them whenever it has a downtime.
So
And
butcher
then-
birds are kind of like that in Australia.
Yeah, that term for that storage of things is called a larder, Larder, which
Makes
is
sense.
another
Like hanging sausages.
right. Same thing, I guess. It's a meat storage sort of thing.
Yummy.
Yeah, trippy. Goes along with that word torpor, which
I'll
are
forget.
words. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
jealous.
larder-
That you're getting,
Larder is a word used for a long term, like that would have been like old school if you were like in a cabin, right? Like in the frontier and you killed a moose, you have to like keep things right stored, hanging or whatever in a larder. Is that what
I
that
would think that it would have to be underground, almost sort of like a wine cellar, but specialized just for meat. I don't know, because lard is built into the word, which is the fat. So
Yes.
I don't know. I'm
There's
thankful
not-
I never had one. That doesn't sound like a fun place to deal with. I'm sure Dan's can appreciate that one also.
I don't know. Yeah,
Okay,
I've
change the story.
that's all right. I was reading a book this past week, Undaunted Courage by, I think his name's Stephen Ambrose. Great author. Have you read that, either of you guys?
No,
No.
isn't he the Red Badge of Courage, the author of that? I don't remember.
Possibly. This book is kind of a historical account of Meriwether and Ben Franklin in like the 17 to 1800s and the opening of the West, like basically the discovery of America, and it's pretty wild. Like talking about the larder and the things that people had to do back then to survive was pretty. I mean, like, yeah, you'd be like, come home from school one day and the parent would be like, yeah, your baby brother died. Do you
Yeah,
want some
diphtheria.
biscuits? You know, like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fucking life.
I was reading
definitely
about
back then.
I was reading about the horseback nurses for Kentucky and this area, and they went up into the hills, and these people were just dying left and right, and they were trying to get them to understand the simple aspects of being clean and eating healthy, and it's amazing. Yeah, like you're saying, you literally come. Yeah, Billy's dead. Who's hungry
That's
for the
right.
stuff that killed Billy?
That's it. You know, they even covered this in the good old Andy Griffith show. There's an episode about the polio vaccine, and they're trying to get these rednecks are like, I ain't taking that shot.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a lot of controversy with vaccines, but can we agree that vaccine was a good vaccine, or was it?
What was that for? That wasn't diphtheria? Was it yellow fever? What was the?
Polio.
Polio was the
Oh,
disease.
I can't get on board with polio.
The disease or the
Yeah,
vax?
no, the vaccine. I have read things where the vaccine did mess people up also. So it's
It
not
did.
just a win.
And that was even in modern times. You see, look at Topo; he's hilarious. Same thing he said earlier when we.
I could talk about Jesus if you want, Topple.
Then he'll never come back.
We talked about this before, but there are two very different polio vaccines.
The sugar cube is the one I think that really messed people up.
Yeah, the oral polio vaccine could cause polio in a small number of people.
Well, I don't even know if that's what it was on the Andy Griffith show. My point of it was the rednecks, Rafe Hollister, in fact.
Yep.
was the.
I don't think that was polio. I think it was like a fever for a fever.
Could have been.
I just read the book recently. I can't even remember. I don't think it was polio though.
Mhm.
Well, actually, that's Andy Griffith. That's after the horse nurses. So yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
That would have been 60s. Would have been rural North Carolina, I guess.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Pilot Mountain. I can see it from my house for the Andy Griffith show.
Mount Pilot.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
Most of
trippy.
the old timers, like the one neighbor, his son, his nickname is Opie.
But there is no Mayberry. I believe that's a completely fictitious place that never existed.
Correct. I believe that's a set.
Yeah, and it wasn't ever based on anything that was real. But like you say, geographically, it is in a real area. If Mount Pilot did exist, or Pilot Mountain, as you call it, it's roughly based on, I guess, that area. What would that be called? Like,
I mean, the closest town.
is it? No, I mean, does it have like the lowlands or like the mountains or?
It's the foothills.
The foothills of the Carolinas. So
Yeah.
going towards the mountains of what, like the Great Smokies, or
No, whatever the appellation's on,
yeah,
or the Appalachian, however you would.
I got you. Okay, cool.
Did you guys see the blurb? I don't know which server I posted on, but Europe is thinking about taking the frozen Russian asset or Russian money and giving it to Ukraine for the war. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't. I've heard that being discussed for years now.
Okay, that's the first time I heard it being discussed. I thought that was a dangerous concept. It seems like that would be poking the bear.
Mhm.
Well, everything's dangerous, and yeah, it's just I don't know. When's this all going to end?
Right. I'm just curious, like if, say, the United States has money frozen somewhere and someone takes it and gives it to a terrorist group to go against us, I can't see that ending well.
What are we
Even though
going
it probably happens all day long.
I mean, what are we going to do about it?
It's
I don't know at the moment.
It's just money. Can always be repaid.
Or printed, right?
Yeah.
Right.
all right. Let's bring him on. David,
Hey, buddy.
Hey, David.
how are
How you guys
these?
doing?
All right. How are you?
Outstanding.
Very good.
How did that? Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that on here. I'll ask you
Go
later.
ahead.
How did this situation end with the rap job you did for the man that lost his wife?
Oh, well,
Did all-
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about that part of it, but the rap turned out great, and they were supposedly I'm gonna be doing one every year for them.
Oh, good
wow.
man.
That was the one with the QR code on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good business. Good.
Great
Did it work?
concept. I haven't seen QR codes around here yet on rap jobs. It's a great
yeah,
concept.
Yeah, you know,
they put
I
QR
saw
codes on everything.
this guy
What?
with an Audi that had wrapped it with matte color gray, like it was a black Audi, and I was like, "Wow, is that?"
Why do you call it a wrap job? What
It's
is
a
it?
sticker, right? Giant
Yeah,
sticker?
basically. I mean,
that?
you can put
Not-
graphics on a car, and then a wrap is more. I mean, because you have to stretch it, and I guess that's probably how it gets its name. You're
So it's not
covering every
painted on.
square.
It's some application.
No, it's like right now I'm working on a food truck, and it's like 10 feet tall by over 4 feet wide panels of basically duct tape, almost the best way to describe it.
Is
And
it
you gotta stretch
polyurethane?
it flat. No, it's vinyl. It's a vinyl, and then there's a clear vinyl laminate that goes over the top after you print onto it, so it protects it.
Why do you do it that way instead of just painting it on?
It's easier.
Like hand painting, like what he's talking about, like a color change on a vehicle. You could pay somebody $3,000 $2,500, $3,000, maybe $4,000 for a high-end one. Where a paint job like that is going to cost $7,000, $8,000. So it's
Okay. So it's
and if you
cheap.
don't like it, you can just peel it off. It's a
Right.
expensive mistake. I wouldn't do a color change because on a nice car like that, because I mean, if it starts out as a white car and you're putting black matte on it, I mean, if you mess up anywhere on that whole thing, it's gonna be obvious, and the customer's gonna be like, "I'm not paying for this," so I don't want to have no
Right.
part of that.
How
just turn
long
people
is the
down when they
lifespan
ask
for
me
that
for that.
material? Once you wrap it, do you have any guarantee you give them?
Fuck no.
Okay,
I
I was just curious how it
Is
works.
it like a paint job with the house? You give people a 1-year warranty, which is nothing. Because
I mean, I'm the kind of guy where I'll, make it right if there's something wrong. But
within a
no, I
year.
don't.
If it's a 2 years later, you could say, "Listen, that's weather."
Well, it depends on how good of a customer. I don't do like full wrap, even though I'm doing one after another right now, like full wraps like that very often, just because they're so time consuming. It keeps you from doing anything else for anybody else for a long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, you're staring at the same little.
It's a lot. Like I'm working over the holiday weekend right now. I don't want to be doing that.
Oh, come on.
Who's gonna
Are you-
cook?
Exactly.
all
Luckily, my wife
weekend
put a
long?
pork butt in the slow cooker yesterday, so we can
Yes,
do all
she
kinds
did.
of shit with that.
What's that going to be? Pulled pork?
It's pulled pork right now, but I mean it's blank, so we could, we've been doing some barbecue sandwiches, but you could throw it in a taco with some taco seasoning. You could do all kinds of different things with it. I'm gonna do nachos with it.
So you never done that before.
So
fat.
Hell yeah.
if I'm some teenage hoodlum, and I
Well, cars didn't exist back then, so what are you going to say? Paint your chariot?
I'm going to say it's kind of a wrap. It sounds like I could peel the whole thing off for
Yeah.
instead of
If
just
you didn't
taking-
like if you didn't like somebody and you knew, especially if it's a printed graphic, like that's why a lot of times if there's a just small damage to a corner, and if you went to a guy like me, and it wasn't that long because it fades, the sunlight fades it. So if it fades for 2 years and it's bleached out a little bit, and you go slapping a brand new printed one on it, a corner of the car that got damaged, and you're just replacing it, it's gonna look out of place. There's nothing you can do about it because it's gonna be brand new where everything else is 2 years
course.
old and sun bleached.
It's like
What
when
is
you do
what
a
is the
quick-
rating? Is it
quick
2 years?
touch-up on like when you do a quick touch-up on a gloss paint a year later, it flashes, you see it no matter how
Right.
good you are, it's going to stand
Right.
up.
If someone's going to keep their fleet in tip top, how many years do they have to repeat the wrap process?
I mean, if it's gonna look good, 5 years tops.
Oh, that's
5
not
years?
bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most
I mean,
drivers will drive the vehicle by then.
There's several companies I redo their stuff with, and the one is real particular. So, if he sees anything peeling up or anything,
That's killer. Repeat customers for a business like yours is that's the bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, and it's nice because it's nice to work with people that have quality and detail. Because I mean, my dad's that way. If one thing is out of order, he'll replace the whole section. It's not. He's not like. It's just that I like working with people like that. Do the whole thing right. Don't just do this little thing, and you can pay him a little bit for it.
Very good. And you survived. I mean, even still to now, there's been wild storms popping up everywhere, from
tomorrow we're
all the way from Chicago down
Yeah.
to Mexico. That thing in Mexico with the fucking lighting and the stage collapsed on the crowd. Did you see that?
yeah,
Oh my
that was
god!
just wind.
That was just wind.
Yeah.
And then that storm, I think, went north to Texas and just trashed a bunch of shit. That was not even anything more than basically some kind of a freak windstorm. It's just,
I saw the tornado in Iowa. That was massive. That's all I've seen lately.
There was one yesterday in, I think, Oklahoma, and it was on the
Oklahoma,
ground
yeah.
for an hour and a half.
Mhm.
Just tearing shit
I
up.
mean, that's a mess. I didn't hear much damage, so it must have been out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure like little farmhouses got demolished, but
The one in
Reed
Iowa
Timmer-
just literally leveled
Yeah.
brick and mortar.
Reed Timmer's been very busy this year.
I love that. That dude is. I've been following that dude for like 10 years now. He was like a
He's
teenager, like in a Honda with busted out windshields.
He
Probably
was,
have chasing.
I mean,
he's been inside 2 tornadoes at least this year.
he's the guy
That's
who gets
crazy.
going. He starts yelling and shit, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
gets
that's-
so excited.
That's the negative, as far as I'm concerned.
It's like you want to.
Big time
He-
tornado! Big time tornado!
He should make an energy drink called Tornado because it sounds like he's had about 1,000 Red Bulls when he sees one. It's
Yeah.
getting close. I mean, the guy's. I'm afraid he's gonna, bust an organ or something. He gets blood pressure must be through the roof when he gets like that. It's really wild. But
Would you risk your life for clicks?
I don't think he does it
I don't
for
think
clicks.
he's doing it for click. He's doing it because he gets so jazzed up over it. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
skateboarding
the,
and
click,
landing
the
the
clicks
biggest trick
came
in the
later
world.
for him.
Right.
yeah, I
And
think
he must
loves
have
it.
he's better than anybody else. So he definitely knows what he's looking at with patterns and knows where to put himself. I mean, because he's nonstop. I mean, that guy is so good.
When you say he's been inside tornadoes, what does he try and do? Get inside of a massive building and film it go over him, or like he's not just sitting in his car?
He's just sitting in his car.
That's
He is sitting in his car. Yeah.
that's interesting life choice for the man.
I mean, he knows, like David Lip says, he knows the strength of these tornadoes. He hasn't died yet, so.
Right.
But I do think he's definitely on the edge there. But I mean, it's
I'm
an
glad-
amazing video from inside a tornado.
He had that thing. What was it called? The Tiv. It was like a all-terrain vehicle, and it looked like a Cybertruck, but this was like 7 years ago, and he could park that thing inside a tornado, and it's got zero lift, so he can.
Yeah, he still has something similar.
Does he?
He calls it the Dominator. He has like 3 of them now because he's making more money with his stuff.
Does it
That
have like
drone
little
footage?
that it shoots into the ground?
It
No, I
has
don't
stuff
think
that
so.
shoots into the ground. It's got
Oh,
like
it
an
does,
apron.
so-
Really?
It's got like an apron so the wind can't get underneath it. But he brought one out and it didn't work.
Oh,
Computer's frozen, he said. I'm going to have to throw it in the ditch. So he literally drove the car into a ditch.
Right, I
Into a
read
ditch.
that.
And then he couldn't get it out because it was in the
it's
ditch
the last
flooded.
thing you want at the last second.
But
I
this was when he put himself inside a very large tornado, a wedge tornado it's called, which is basically like the cloud just comes down to the ground.
Ugh.
And he was inside the tornado for a couple of minutes at least. It's not these little ones that just scooch right on by, which he's been inside of. But
No scooching happens.
right.
no, it was like he was inside for a couple of minutes, and it was thankfully it wasn't too powerful. The winds were maybe 90, 100 miles an hour, but it was
like
hairy.
a 1 or a 0, right?
It was probably a 1, yeah.
That
There was
drone footage with those windmills. I mean, that was incredible.
That
footage.
was amazing.
That was
That was Iowa, right? That one was Iowa?
Yeah,
That was Iowa,
It was
yeah.
Iowa.
What I noticed with the tornadoes, the big ones like that, is you'll notice as the big one is spinning, there seem to be small cones like spinning around it.
Right.
They were like
There's a name- there's a
dancing
name for
around
it.
it.
It's going to be
Yes.
Calls
Oh,
them
dude.
vortexes.
I
Yeah,
don't know, but
multiple vortices is what I
Right.
say.
yeah, those were
Vortici?
totally just trippy looking.
Vorticide. They
Yeah.
do look amazing though. It's almost hypnotizing the way they kind of
Right.
dance around.
And the thing in the middle, the big ones seemed to be a little bit darker gray, and the little ones had to be slightly lighter in color or
Yeah.
whitish, so they really stood out. But when you focus on the thing in the middle and you see the speed that it's spinning, and you see the shit that's flying around in it, which could be
Yeah.
trees or
Cows.
cars or
Or
whatever.
giant chunks of windmill,
Right.
big pieces of metal just flying around in the air.
It looked like a toy, and I've seen
Exactly.
those blades hauled. I don't know if you guys have seen them in person, hauled in on a back of a
Huge.
tractor trailer.
Huge.
It's unfreaking believable how big those are,
Yeah.
and it looked like a toy in that video, like it wasn't nothing.
Did you see
It
the one
almost
that
looked
got
like
stuck?
the one that caved over. and it didn't even look like it really went through. It was a pretty good ways outside of it when it went over. So
Yeah,
the
it's
outside
bad.
wind must have been unbelievable.
That thing looked like paper.
Yeah, it
looks
does.
just
Hmm.
like. But
If you
did you see when the guy in the big rig got stuck on the friggin' train track?
huh?
And he was pulling one turbine from a
Oh,
No.
yeah, and the thing got nailed by a train. That was yeah, because he couldn't make the turn or some crazy shit. Yeah,
oh,
but yeah,
yeah.
they
Those
are.
things are unbelievably large.
Yeah, if you ever walk through a area where they're set up, it's pretty humbling. It's not the same spiritual experience as like a sequoia forest, but you do feel small.
Yeah, and especially when they're spinning and the outside speed is like 250 miles an hour of the tip, and when they come down to the towards you on the ground, you could hear them cutting the air, and it's like
And
Really?
hawks and air at the same time.
oh yeah, anything flying. But
I saw an interesting, or I didn't see it. I heard an interesting thing. Actually, it was yesterday about the birds getting struck by it. They found it was like Finland or some kind of like Sweden or place over there
People who
that
care.
if they paint one of the blades black, and it tricks the birds, and it's a 70% decrease in bird strikes. So
Is
far
that
from their
is that the
testing.
one fin that's longer that they paint black?
Is there one longer? They look like they're all the
Yeah, the
same
two
They're
white
all the
ones are
same.
shorter and the black one's longer, I'm pretty sure.
Well, all the ones I've ever seen, they're all white. Wait, what do you?
You'll get
You're
it.
like,
You'll get it
I
later.
can see a shit-eating grin on
It's
your
some
face.
bad joke. I
oh, the black one because it's black.
Come on, guys.
Oh, I
Ah.
see. I see. I see.
That's a myth.
Yeah, fair enough. I accept the myth.
Anyway, yeah, it's they tried to. Well, they don't know because they can't obviously talk to the birds, but they
Yeah.
think that their birds are. It was the golden eagle or something. I think it was that they were doing the study on, and they said that people talk about the bird strikes all the time with the with these windmills, and it's such a insignificant. I mean, it's something we should still be concerned about because it still kills birds, but it's such an insignificant number that it gets inflated just with people wanting to complain about windmills.
Yeah, they compare it to house cats. I think that's
Yeah,
the
oh my
article.
God, that's not even close when they compare it to
Right.
house cats. The
Uh,
house
those
cats,
are-
it was millions.
But
It
it's
was
more
Yeah,
rare
it's-
birds.
It's
1
it's rap-
billion.
That's the problem.
What?
House cats account for 1 billion dead
One
birds.
bit. One
A
billion.
year? Is that a legit number?
1 trillion.
Yeah, you got it. No, I'm glad that you poisoned those squirrels, man. That's good for you.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I mean,
everything.
if you had a house cat, it's gotten several birds. You know, if we have a house cat that got out when I was a kid,
Mhm.
you know, we would let it out, so it was the inside outside cat. But you know, it got birds all the time, and you multiply that by how many cats are around, and you can
Right.
see
That
the
are allowed to go
number is
outside,
incredible.
Yeah, the birds that house cats kill are not the same birds
That's
that
true.
windmills kill.
That's true.
I
Yeah.
don't care how many sparrows. I don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
how many European sparrows are killed by house cats.
House sparrows need to be killed by house cats daily.
All birds' lives matter, though. Is
Do
my
they?
belief.
Of course.
As a
Window.
birder, you start to get biased.
Window strikes account for hundreds of millions of bird deaths a year.
That I can believe. My windows have killed
Oh yeah,
quite
Yeah.
a few birds.
All right.
Yeah.
I get
Absolutely.
at least I'd say 10 a year here.
Yeah,
and all of my neighbors their houses aren't. We're not. It's not like I'm in a house of glass over here. It's a normal fucking house.
Right.
I
No, they-
imagine every house gets 5 to 10 a year, and then you
It's-
multiply that by 200 million houses or whatever in this country. There's
A
gonna be
billion.
I love your math.
They
Brilliant.
account for a billion.
It's never a significant portion of the birds around. I have like one cardinal. Has hit I've killed one cardinal by my window.
Oh.
Several other birds.
Luckily, I've noticed a cardinal get killed.
I've had plenty of robins go down. I've saved some birds. When they're dazed, you just wrap a little hand towel around them and set them someplace safe, and they'll wake up and fly away on their own.
Unless
If
it's
you
a
don't
house
happen
sparrow.
with-
House sparrows, they don't get no towel.
They get a real tight towel.
No, and the same with starlings. They're
Oh,
an
dude.
invasive species. I hate starlings.
My grandfather has killed 22 sparrows so far this season so the purple martins have a chance. And you'll be like talking to him, he'll be like crushing a sparrow in his hand that he caught, just brutal, brutal. And you're like, but if you know why, it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, purple martins are rare, hard to come
Awesome.
by.
It's awesome to have them.
There's a place that
Glad to hear that, John.
There's a National Audubon Society hiking trail thing, a bunch of them, in Massachusetts, that they set up the purple martin nests. And when you see one of those things, it's like a barn swallow or whatever tree swallow, but like 3 times the size. And if you catch them in the right light, purple or purple iridescence, kind of. They're really gorgeous.
They look black until you get the right angle.
Exactly.
But they're super friendly. They'll let you like come up right next to them, but they're also dumb as a brick. So, like you'll see them like building a nest, but then they'll go in the wrong box and build a nest in there. I was like, are they building multiple options and then laying in one? And I was like, I think they're just that dumb.
Mhm. They're very cool.
Maybe it's go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say maybe it's one for the mistress.
Mm.
Oh.
Hopefully, you don't get. I've heard barred owls will set up on the purple martin nests and just rip all the birds out and eat them all.
Black snakes last season, but I've never seen an owl yet.
Mm.
That'll be. I'm sure my grandfather will really appreciate that experience.
Down goes the owl next.
He's got a new semi-auto 22, so he'll tear that owl to pieces.
We got a barred owl that lives in our backyard. It's just an incredible bird species for sure.
They're cool. They're loud. So you're familiar with the "Who cooks for you? Who cooks for who?" call. He does that shit all the time, right?
Like I cook
I'll
for
have
everybody.
to think of that next time I hear it,
Yeah.
which will probably be tonight.
Who cooks for you? Who cooks for who? Yeah.
He messes with my dog. My dog hates it. Just goes crazy, and he'll just fly from one end of the backyard to the other.
Which, the big dog, Cinnamon?
Yeah, Cinnamon. Yeah.
Cinnamon, the world's sweetest attack dog.
Oh my God, she is the sweetest thing.
Are
ever.
you an
She
enemy?
would tear
Well, come
you
on
up if
in.
you were in the backyard, though.
She doesn't like visitors, right?
No, she likes visit, like if they come, but if it's someone or something in the backyard that we haven't like invited, like that just strolls in or something, she's not gonna mess around.
Like the town drunk.
Mm-hmm. So RW, you were talking about was it your dad or your grandpa that was squishing the?
That was my 93-year-old grandpa.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
his whole life he's been trying, and he just finally got him last year.
And I might have told this story a long time ago on here. I don't know, but it's worth a second tell. But
Do it.
when me and my wife first started dating, she came over to the house and we all had dinner at the kitchen table, and me and my mom and my dad and my wife, and a possum wandered in right behind the picture window that we were eating at, and so we all stood up and we're all looking at it, and my mom's got this like flower garden there and a bird feeder and stuff, and it's not like we were like, oh, look at that beautiful creature, but it was like we were standing there and we didn't realize that my dad had went around the house, and he like comes into the picture and he's got this, I can't remember, it was like a cinder block, I think.
Oh,
over
no
his
way.
head, and just crushes this possum right in front of my then girlfriend and my mom while we were just eating
This was
a
your
family
dad?
meal.
Your
This
father?
is my dad, yeah, because they lived underneath the house, so to him he was like, I'm gonna take this opportunity to just get rid of this creature.
He was essentially saying,
here
"This is
comes
the only
Mrs. Lip.
chance.
Did I
The only
say something
chance
wrong?
I'm going to get to kill this thing is now. Sorry, people. Here."
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
She says my mom was taking a picture at the time of the possum.
God, if the brick was like in midair in the picture, it could be.
Oh my god!
You
It
just
was
see
like
two legs
I don't
sticking
even.
out.
I feel like we might have all turned before it was thrown.
I can't see you turning, Aphid.
I know. It does seem out of character.
Right. I mean, did you
Why
eat it?
No, but he did kill it.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he
Why would-
apologized. Like, he apologized because he was like, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do, you know?
I mean, not to be a one-upper, I got a similar story where I grew up.
Yeah.
In
No, one me up,
Dorchester.
dude. I'm all
I had
for
a neighbor who's a Vietnam veteran, black fella, Mr. Stevenson, and we found a rat on the wall. It was his, Dorchester, which is an inner city community near Boston, and he grabbed his shovel, and me and my friends just all stood there aghast at him walking up and flattening this thing with a full overhand smash with the shovel. And I now understand why. They're fucking rodents. They're disgusting. But at the time, I was definitely shocked. I'll never forget that. He was a cool guy, man. Cool neighbor. And he didn't give us a warning or turn your heads or anything, boys. It's just
Yeah, like my
Yeah,
dad.
strike like a cat. Yeah, exactly.
There was no, you guys might want to sit this one out, you know?
Right. What's that over there?
yeah.
to his defense, I don't know if he knew we were all standing at this window looking at the thing at the time. He just knew it was there, so he scooted out the front door so he could sneak around the house.
But it's strange.
But they made a
top on the deck.
there was like this crawl space in our house, and they would crawl up underneath there, and sometimes they would die, and there would be no way to get them out, and it would stink for the whole, it'd stink for months until it
Right.
decomposed enough to not stink anymore.
Mhm.
And there was really nothing you could do about it.
Ugh.
So it was constantly a problem. I had to crawl up in there and I didn't drag them out. I checked to see if there was any more raccoons up in there after we caught the raccoon. I wanted to see if there was babies because I wanted to block it off once and for all for my mom.
Possums or raccoons or multiple
It was
species?
raccoons. It was
Okay.
raccoons. And I trapped the raccoon. I have a big trap. And I wanted to make sure there was no babies up there because I was going to seal it shut. And I didn't want to seal up have the same problem where it stank.
Right.
And anyway, so I crawled up in there, and there were so many fleas. I came out, and I was just all sweaty and dirty and just covered in fleas. And I had to take this raccoon and dispose of it.
Jesus.
Dude, fleas are brutal,
Fleas.
man. They'll make you jump when they
It
bite.
was. Well, I didn't realize it until I was in my truck driving the thing to dump it off in the woods. And I'm sitting there, and I look in my rearview mirror, and I can just see them, like, swimming in the sweat on my forehead.
Dude, thank God you didn't have to go to Vietnam. You are like the perfect tunnel rat. I could see you with
I know. I would be.
a 45 and a
Mm.
freaking Bowie knife or
Mhm.
something. And you just go in and kill Victor Charlie. Crazy.
Charlie, we can. Last Dance says we can call him that. So
You certainly can.
Charlie.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd always thought it was Charlie Chan was the reference, so that's why I put that. But apparently, no. Old McGrandy set us straight with VC, Viet Cong, Victor Charlie. Then they just don't strike me as a Victor, but they do come off well as Charlie, right? It's not like you could see a bunch of grunts going around saying, Victor's up over the hill. We call in artillery on Victor. No, call in artillery on Charlie. So, it does work. It makes sense, man. And it's not racist, right? Are we okay still?
So yeah, we can go into our local nail salon, and I can be like, "Hey, Charlie, come over here and give me a pedicure," and he's not going to be offended.
First of all, there's a lot of
Yeah, he'll
things
be
wrong.
offended.
Men don't give them or receive them in these places. This reminds me of a Seinfeld episode of
Oh, the chick?
Costanza's
the-
father when he speaks
Right.
Korean.
Right. It's Elaine takes him.
Yeah, because she thinks they're talking
You
crap.
think they're talking? Of course, they are talking crap about her.
Yeah, he knows Korean amazingly. George's father, Frank.
Yeah.
Good episode.
I remember that one.
That's also the one at the end when Frank cooks food for the people at the Jewish social or something like that. And,
Right. Jewish singles.
and the guy who's wearing fatigue starts to choke on something, and Frank has a flashback to Vietnam of making all these GIs sick from his food.
Yeah, he has a flashback, but it's a cook flashback when all the GIs got sick from his food.
And it's, of course, it's the weird guy from Elaine's office who wears fatigues, and he looks like a GI from Korea.
The psycho guy.
Absolutely brilliant episode.
Is McGrandy a vet, a Vietnam vet?
He is
Negative.
not.
He's not.
Not old enough.
He's definitely interested in it.
He's not old enough, but he's
Yeah, he'd have to be
knowledgeable guy.
at least probably mid-70s these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, 73. My neighbor vet is 73.
Yeah, I mean he's probably close, but he's a little bit too young.
I didn't mean to be mean. I was just curious because he's the one that brought up the Victor Charlie in the chat. I was
It's okay.
curious.
It's okay.
No problem. It's fine.
You can be mean. He's used
We're
to
being,
it.
He'll be here
we're
soon.
being nice here. We're just talking. We're not being insulting. We can talk about people who are regulars as long as we don't disparage them too much.
I tried to tag Welsh in. He didn't. I'll try again.
Don't tag him on the Discord. You got to DM him on Twitter.
I can't tag him on the. I can't personal message on Discord.
And people just don't see that, in my humble opinion.
Or if you're like Last Dance, you don't see any Twitter messages.
He's
either.
too busy talking trash to the public to see private messages.
Too busy raging.
I haven't seen much of anyone's comments on there lately.
No, you're not.
Well, I appreciated your Transformer.
I missed that one.
Transformer. Yeah, I said there was some trans thing, and I it was like a lawyer who called himself the pissed off lawyer, and he posted some idiotic trans screed. I forgot what I wrote, and RW posted a GIF of the Transformers. A Transformer.
Robots in disguise, bro.
Robots in the skies.
I just like Transformers. I had nothing to do with the conversation. Just passing through.
Yeah, that guy who does Optimus Prime's voice in the movies is a pretty cool voice actor. He's done a lot of people. I never realized how that one guy has done so many voices when you hear him.
I'm glad they beefed up. Bumblebee from the cartoon. Bumblebee was a bitch.
Yeah, I never actually saw the movie, but yeah, it's that picture. Who put it on the Discord of the trans basketball player? Was it basketball?
Oh no, the shot put.
It was shot put, believe it or not.
I think Dan shared that. I saw it before him, but
Yeah,
I
it was
think
me.
third in the state. I thought it's funny that they're not first. Like the fact that they're not even the best.
Interesting to find out if any of the top three are biological females. Possible none of them are.
I mean, it's possible. I'm hoping that they're female.
Right.
Hoping that the percentage is that low that person is the only one working the system.
I spoke to my my niece about this recently and asked her opinion about it. She's a freshman in college, and she does not play any collegiate sports. So she basically said, if I did play, it would definitely piss me off. But since I don't really care. That was her.
Yeah, not attached. That's a fair deal.
You know, she's not getting worked up about something that doesn't have any bearing on her. But I kind of said, but like, don't you think it's unfair for? I said, you know, like one way of cheating for women is to take testosterone for biological females to grow muscle.
That's
Now, if you-
illegal.
yes.
That's hilarious.
If you are a biological male who's trans to female, but if they're not monitoring your testosterone levels, then you could be growing so much muscle with testosterone that's naturally occurring in your
Yeah,
body.
that's right. It's naturally on pump. So that's
Of
just
course.
funny. That's something I never paid attention to, but that's so accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up, man.
It doesn't have to make sense anymore. That's the point. It doesn't have to make sense. You just
Yeah,
have to obey.
People say like, "Oh, well, no, there's testosterone blockers and this and that." I'm like, "Well, how do you know that they're taking them? Is there monitor like heavy duty monitoring of this in collegiate sports? I have no idea." But
I wouldn't even think it would take it down to 0% anyway. It would just lessen it. So no matter what, they'd still have it in their system because they create it daily. Yeah, I
Right.
don't know how it works.
And what if you trained like crazy and then took this blocker shit for a couple of months before to lower your levels, but you were already fucking jacked?
Yeah, no, that's true. You could cheat the test at the last minute. That's very true. But also, what happens when you take blockers and try and beef out muscle? Do you just tear yourself to shreds? Like, what happens if your body, if a male body blocks testosterone and then works out? I don't know how that works.
It probably is the similar results to like when a person gets older and they stop producing as much testosterone. That's why older guys like take testosterone supplements to up that in their body to get more jacked, you know.
Don't they put that in gin now as a natural supplement?
Let me see.
Hold on, Last Dance is going to order some gin.
No, it's no testosterone in the Jameson.
There's a marketing model for you. Get paid.
Remember when Red Bull came out, they used to say there was something in it like taurine, which had something to do with bulls.
It's a stimulant. I don't know if it's plant-based or not, but taurine means bull.
Yeah, taurus means
Taurus, yes.
yeah.
Right. So I'll check it up now.
I remember hearing about that, wondering, and then the old school thing was a bull for Red Bull, of course. But they've sort of dropped that a bit, and they've gone with that Red Bull gives you wings thing now, anyways. But remember the days of Red Bull and vodka? Did any of you guys ever do those?
I remember that. I don't remember that. Is more accurate.
Yeah, I did.
Did you do them? Were you in that phase, Aphid?
I didn't do them, but I got completely wasted doing it once.
Well, that's doing them.
Well, I mean, yeah, it wasn't like my thing, you know.
Okay, you did it one time, like you get the rush, you're wide awake, and then you drink a little too much because of the caffeine, and then you're fucking
it didn't
it's a
stop
let's
after
go drive
that.
drink. It's a let's go out and drive type drink. It's not a safe drink.
It's bad.
No, I don't drive.
I'm just saying, like when you take caffeine, like these energy alcoholic drinks, like Jolt or whatever that they made, Juice, whatever they were. That's when I did stupid stuff because normally drinking just makes you want to hang out and not go anywhere.
Yeah, they made a spring water. It wasn't spring. It was a filtered water, and it was called, instead of H2O, it was Crank 2O. It was caffeinated water, and this was in the days of day trading, when day traders who traded actively could make $100,000 in a day of trading. I think the SEC changed the way that shit worked because it was too volatile for the market. But day traders were making coffee with Crank 2O to get super jazzed and juiced and to try to be able to focus on so many things at once.
Just so you know, taurine is from animal tissue. And it's also the ingredient that was used to make people trip again from ecstasy. So if you took ecstasy in the past and you drank an energy drink, it would trigger another trip.
Interesting. Yeah.
I never mess with that stuff.
Never once.
They're just getting bigger and bigger, David. Like the monster, like you see these guys drinking like these things. Like, how does your heartburn not rip a hole through your body? Like it's just.
Oh, monster drinks? I've drank those.
I'm
Well,
just saying
the
the,
different-
the portions are just getting huge.
Yeah, and some of them are
I meant I never did the ecstasy or nothing like that.
the ecstasy. Yeah, right. I it was around, but I did it. Anyways,
It was round, but yeah, I did it.
um, yeah, some of the I don't know, and like we're talking Red Bull now. There's so many like my nephews and shit have the weird, the ones the gamers and shit endorse. Like I have no idea what the stuff is that they're drinking now.
Oh, like
And
a different
hell-
brand.
Different brands, and I mean, I didn't even know it. Fucking Panera had some fucking lemonade that had like 300 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Woo!
That some person apparently had a reaction to and died from. That it wasn't really well advertised. It was like at the fountain soda, and you could just get it. And if you didn't know what the hell you were getting this jazzed up.
Are you kidding? I got some
Gallon later.
Panera lemonade. It's delicious, but it didn't have. I don't think it had any caffeine in it.
There's one that did. It's gone now, but because of this lawsuit, it's an active lawsuit right now. Yeah,
Oops.
yeah.
Did you want to clean the house after you got home?
I don't remember.
And the neighbor's house.
Amphetamine and alcohol is a terrible combo. Agreed.
It's called the liver melter.
Yeah, and very true, Mr. E. Times have changed.
Speaking of liver melter,
Transvestites are not what they used to be. Yes, true, Mr. E. What were you going to say? Liver melter?
you brought up the Morgan Spurlock elevated liver enzymes.
Yeah.
Remember that? Turns out he was an alcoholic. Now, I don't know if that would elevate your liver enzymes from before you start eating McDonald's to afterward, but
Well, I mean, I'd like to chime in on that. His liver's already stress loaded from alcohol, from being alcoholic before that. But if he's going to continue to drink, especially drink heavily while he's doing that McDonald's challenge, that's two combinations put together that would be like amphetamine, whatever the fuck that is.
Do you need to be rebooted?
Yes.
Amphetamine.
Amphetamine. Yes. Basically, the alcoholic drinking with that diet, I can totally see spiking the charts out with, because
Yeah, I
you're
agree.
stressing the fuck out of your liver.
Combination of the two. That's an old school thing that I remember hearing about. That drinking all night and then eating really fatty foods like right before bed, or which everyone kind of does in college, is really
Right. Late night
significant.
is usually not too healthy.
No, and as you get older as an alkie, you realize eat before you drink, and then at the end of the night you drink like 32 ounces of water. Yeah.
32 gallons.
But yeah, I mean, then you're pissing all night long, but it's so much better for your body than the old school thing of ordering food at midnight. Drunk pizza, don't talk shit about Domino's, man. It's good at midnight, whatever. It's
Right.
horrendous, in my opinion.
Cardboard with some cheese-like substance on it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe I don't drink enough on these clubs, but I have gotten a little drunk. But I never wake up with any kind of a hangover.
You
No,
definitely
me
are a
neither.
man of control. I have seen you past the point, like maybe twice, even once, maybe once. I guess once.
I know I've done it a couple times.
Yeah, I'm never
Last time I
sure
did
if
it-
you're just tired or if you're fucking drunk. So I'm tired. Sorry, Aphid, what were you saying,
I
buddy?
was just gonna say the last time I did it was when I got in that fight with Drone Tech about Ted Cruz being a pussy, because I mixed it with wine and And it was short. It was like 10 minutes after I got in that argument. I got off, went upstairs, and I was like, "Holy shit, the room is spinning." I laid down and felt like shit the next day.
What did you mix
beer
with wine?
I probably smoked a little. Then I probably drank a bunch of beer, and then I drank
Yeah,
some
Ted
wine.
Cruz wouldn't do that because he's a pussy.
Well, I went back, a couple days later or whatever it was, and watched it to see if I made a fool of myself. And I don't disagree with anything I said.
Good.
You stuck to your own standards. Good for you.
I don't think I
least
didn't
I
disagree with anything you said, if I recall.
Yeah, because he was a pussy.
I do not recall.
Drone text defense was it's politics, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna, support somebody that has such low standards of morals.
You have to have a backbone. You have to stand up for something. You can't switch camps.
There has to
I'll
be.
tell you who you have to stand up for. You have to stand up for your father, especially if he didn't actually do anything wrong.
Wait, what was this about? Like, can we just, let's not bring Drone too much into it because he's
No,
not
I
here
know.
to
Yeah,
himself.
right.
But
It
let's
has nothing to
talk
do
the
with drone
conversation. What was it about exactly?
I said he. Go ahead.
Trump, during the campaign in which Cruz was running against him, he implied, he didn't actually say it outright, but in the Trump way, he implied that Ted Cruz's father was involved in the assassination of JFK.
John F. Kennedy, right? Yes.
Oh, that's just common, right? That's common knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And
so Ted Cruz's father, what was he, a CIA agent or in politics?
He was nobody. I don't think he was.
I don't think it had any credibility.
I think he looked a little bit like a guy in a picture that was seen. There's this picture of it's like Lee Harvey Oswald on some street walking. I don't know what it was, and there's a guy in there who's not actually talking to Lee Harvey Oswald. He's just in the picture, and it's not a great picture. And Ted Cruz's dad maybe looked a little like this guy. It wasn't identified as Ted Cruz's dad. It was the absolutely flimsiest evidence. It could have been aphid lip in that picture.
It may have.
Yeah, bottle cap. There was something about this too, right? Bush was involved.
Bush's
father, maybe? No, in the assassination thereof.
Let's see. Preston Bush?
Maybe the father of even the older Bush.
Yeah, Preston was the grandfather.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, and he also Trump also said some very horrible things about Ted Cruz's wife as well, for no reason. Just like how her appearance and everything. So I think it was said that he was cool or something, Ted Cruz, and I just said how he was a pussy for not standing up for his father. And so it just the argument got way out of control because I kept just repeating he shit on his father, and my son refers to that night as the night Dad was complaining about the guy that pooped on his dad because I just kept repeating it over and over. He shit on because what happened was Trump came to Texas? Is that where he's from?
Ted Cruz? Yeah.
And Ted Cruz was there on stage talking how cool Trump was and was like, "Here, the best president we've ever had," and just laying in, kissing his ass, and brought him into his own, huge hall that everybody was at, and to rave reviews to all these people. And I was just
jumping in the mud puddle so that Trump can walk over him, so his shoes don't get.
And I just said how that's just shows you how that guy is a complete fucking loser to not stick up for his dad.
Interestingly, another person recently flipped to the Trump train, a woman, of course, Nikki Haley.
That woman, I think she's been.
Oh, yeah. Same category.
Did she? Did she really come? Like, did she?
Yeah.
She just said she would vote for him. Did she? Was she like giving him rave reviews?
It was
and I voted for her for nothing.
Yeah, she endorses
Oh,
Trump.
sorry, Dance. What are the chances?
Do you know who the only last standout is?
RFK.
Chris Christie.
Or
Bingo.
what do you mean?
Chris
Chris
Christie.
Christie, and he
Chris
probably
Christie
won't.
is running?
No, he's the
No.
only one who's
But he hasn't
still
endorsed him.
a critic of Trump. Still anti. He's the last one of all of them who ran
Oh, he's
against
slick.
him.
Just give it time, dude.
Well, I mean, his backbone has to be strong for holding up that weight over these
Oh,
years.
dude.
Yeah, really.
It's going to break eventually.
He wears those pants so high. I mean, that guy did more damage to himself ever with closing down a highway to basically fuck with the Secretary of Transportation or something like that. And then he got photographed around that time on a beach that was closed.
Oh,
And all of his fatness fucking sitting there like a fucking beached whale.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I
I'm
actually
above the
kind of
law,
like the
bitch.
guy, but these things just did not serve him well. It was like Hillary with the "I'm going to close the coal mines." People were like, "Yeah, fucking bitch," you know, like some things that people do, they don't realize the ramifications are going to be far and wide and never forgotten. You know.
I did a debate last night with Liberal Cluck on Hillary Clinton's use of the external servers for classified documents, and it was interesting. We both came to the conclusion that she definitely broke the law. That the code, whatever code law you want to call it, she did break it, but they weren't able or didn't believe that they could prove the intent that she did it on purpose, so they never indicted her. And it's like. That's hard as a commoner. That's hard. That's like saying, I didn't know the soda was spiked, so can I get off for this DUI? I didn't mean to do it. You're still gonna get tagged. So I don't know. It was a hard debate for me.
You just can't be a hypocrite in these situations, which almost everybody is. You know, if she gets away with doing what she gets away with, then Trump should get away with, you know, some of the stuff he does. So if you're on one side and you say one person, oh, how dare they, you know, then everybody needs to be looked at with the same brush.
I think if the law is broken, that you get in trouble for breaking the law. I don't understand how you can choose. I don't understand how you can choose. That doesn't. Why even have the law at that point?
Yeah, and intent has never been a viable excuse legally. I mean, if that was the case, then you could say, well, I mean, when I got behind the wheel, I didn't intend to run over that group of, you know, Mormons. I accidentally, after drinking, and I did it or whatever. You know, like intent is irrelevant. Like you break the law, the law is broken. There was intent or
involuntary manslaughter.
Or ignorance thereof is not an excuse as well. You can't.
But how can you say for Hillary's server, she's not using the actual secure server. She's choosing to use an alternate communication. How can she not know that she's doing that? That's all the intent there is needed. She knew she was doing it. How could you not?
Right. Yeah, she's not a complete idiot. You know, she's would have known and been conscious of what she was doing in the moment. Obviously.
But no prosecutor would thought they were able to actually prove that intent. So I don't know. It's for me, it was a perfect example of forgiveness instead of persecution. Not everybody seems to get that. I guess that was my point in the debate. But
it sounds like, no offense, but it sounds like a boring debate.
Well, we were actually reading the legal documents and stuff. It wasn't high energy. It wasn't a bunch of people just pulling stuff out of their ass. It was figuring out what the truth was.
Sounds
all right to me.
I mean, Aphid, would you consider yourself a big fan of old Hillary?
No, never liked her.
How about Bill?
Be careful saying that stuff on the internet.
He wasn't the worst president we've ever had.
No, he had a.
What a way to answer the question.
Well, I mean, I like to look at things analytically, and him and Reagan were pretty high up on the way the country was after they left.
Oh man, those seem like the good old days.
I
They
mean,
were pretty
Clinton,
close in time. We had a nice run there.
Bill Clinton was somewhat fiscally conservative in a way, wasn't he? I mean, didn't
Absolutely.
the budget was
Yeah,
pretty good, and that's something that you never see these days with that party, with Democrats.
No.
Well, and
that's-
Bush started NAFTA and Clinton finished NAFTA. I mean, there was it wasn't like now how whatever gets done in the previous administration has to get reversed as soon as the other person gets in office, and I think that's a huge mistake.
which is funny because like Trump started these tariffs about the steel in China and things like that, and then Biden wants to continue it, but now Trump's only concerned with saying it's my deal, I started it. But it is something in a way that I do think they both agree on that particular one thing, the tariffs, which I think in a way is NAFTA is kind of the origination of that sort of thing, right? Like,
Well, no,
Trade deals.
origination of them doing it, yeah, because NAFTA
Right.
was more like let's have trade with more countries, and
Well,
where the tariff thing is
NAFTA
more
was about
against-
Canada and Mexico.
is more about like
North America.
shutting the things down.
And the tariffs are about controlling pricing that I think
Well,
they thought
there's
went
pretty
wild
much-
because of NAFTA.
I mean, I'm not no expert on it, but there's pretty much no significant swing either way on jobs or the money that almost $1 for $1 that we raise on the tariff gets passed on to us, the consumer. So, I mean, you can the only argument you could probably make is the relationship you have with the country that you're laying the tariffs on, I guess, is
Right.
because
Well,
pretty much-
also, if it costs that much more for American steel and it evens out the prices, then it makes more sense for them to buy American. That means that, yes, the consumer is going to be paying a lot more if the quality of the Chinese steel is the same. But the steel, I guess, is going to be ethically produced with people making a livable wage, supposedly here, is the theory behind it. And you're not paying for people who are working outlandish hours and sweatshop conditions. I don't know. Is this all make
I mean,
sense?
that's a theory, but there really hasn't been a huge increase in employment in those areas that the tariffs have been hit towards. Like sweatshirts or whatever product you want to do. There's really no increase in jobs created in those industries.
Another smoke? How
I
many
can't-
is that?
You keeping count? How many
I'm not counting.
How mu-
I don't know.
how many drinks you had? How many joints you smoked?
Oh, that
One-
As
reminds
long as
me.
he's not lighting one with the other, well, we're okay.
I've had 5 beers, 1 shot of rum, and
Oh, that
one
reminds me.
joint.
What's an average beer alcohol?
Here's my
percentage?
number 2.
I'll say
think-
4.5%.
I would
Oh,
say
re-
4%, 4.2%.
I'm not going to pull out my stupid reading glasses. I already know. Bud Light is 4. Budweiser is 5. What do
Is
you
it
got,
5?
Nathan?
This is 6. I remember I told you. I've only been. I feel like I missed you guys. In the past month, I've only been able to make one show because either you haven't done one or I haven't been available. And
What is
the
that
last time I
you're
was on here, I had all these beers, and there was 2 or 3 of them left in there. So I was like, well, I'll do one of those.
I was wondering if your drinking went up when you got that bargain of cheap booze.
No, not at all. No, because I don't
So-
really. I mean, they're all right. You can drink them, but it's if you open that door and there's something that you'd rather have, you're gonna. Or at least for me, I'm not saying for everybody.
Got to go for
So
the
it's
shot.
nice to have an excuse to try. Sit down and try something different.
Is that a
How
gluten
much-
I don't know
free?
where they're at.
Is
How
that
big
a
are those bottles?
They're
I'm
12
guessing they're
ounce.
normal size. I'm guessing.
Well, it's
I'll
funky.
bet. What does
Looks
it
like
say?
a can.
There's a number. What does it say? You got to put on glasses.
I do.
Big
All
pain
right,
in the
Steve,
ass.
time to put on your glasses too, buddy.
No.
With your 9 feet of cord. He's at the
11
neighbor's
point.
house right now.
Oh, 11.2 ounces.
That's not much.
Ooh.
Yeah, 11.2 fluid ounces. If
I
this
mean,
is
with
called-
6%, you're still getting a strong enough drink.
It looks like it's little gnomes. It's little gnomes.
It does look like it.
Choofy. Chowfy.
It's a
Chauffé?
Belgian. Most of the ones I got were Belgians because I
Yeah.
seem to prefer Belgians.
Probably Chowf. I don't know. Anna's gone. Hey, she's passed out.
It's not bad though.
She was only here for a brief moment.
Anna
I
was on
mean-
here tonight.
First
Yeah,
up.
Oh, I didn't see her.
Yeah. It's
Must
like
have been really
2 in
quick.
the
'cause
morning where she is. So,
I don't think I missed. Oh, I watched one of the original pubs. I didn't watch it. I had it playing in the background while I was working today. It was one of the ones back when Hayden used to host it, a Saturday pub. It was kind of interesting. The
anyone
different
predict
groups
the
of
future?
people that used to come in there.
Did anyone predict the future?
No, it was
Well-
mostly COVID talk because that's what was going on right then.
Was
Hayden
I
hosted
there? Were you there? Was I? Was Last Dance?
You were there, yeah. You were there. Last Dance was not there.
no, I didn't.
What?
You were there on and off because that's how you were. You would come in and go off, come in and go off. Drone Tech was there for the first probably half of it, I would say. Hayden got really, really wasted, and I think you might have ended up running it. Or no, Alex. Remember the Alex kid because he had control. I think he closed it down. But you were on quite a bit towards the end.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was it StreamYard
was like-
back then?
Yes.
Yeah, Smokesteve looked completely different back. Totally looks different.
Mhm.
It was, I guess, because the hair for the most part,
Much longer.
and
now.
you're definitely more comfortable, talking on camera than you were then. You could tell you were more camera shy back then.
He tossed that to the curb.
Yeah.
Get out of here, shyness.
I never had shyness. I was just inexperience,
And you used to always call everybody that you didn't know their name Guy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, guy. What are you doing over there, guy?
Doesn't sound like me, but
You would just start talking, and if you didn't know his name, you could tell you didn't know his name. So you'd be like, Guy?
It is not guy.
There was
It is Guy.
there was a-
name is pronounced Guy.
a guy from Australia. I want to say Jeremy or something. I think he was fans of Drone Tech.
yeah. You know him. He's on still with Drone Tech RW.
Wrong think? No.
No,
Rational
Who's the
wrong.
Australian guy?
He's
Yeah,
RW
he
also.
He went
Rational
by
Rock-
his real. He went by his real name.
Jacob.
I think it was like Jake. That's it. Jacob. That's it. Jacob.
I like him. I've only talked to him like twice.
Yeah, Jacob. He's
Jacob. That was him. But yeah,
He's,
he was on there for almost the whole show.
I can't even-
Biscuit Vapes. It was the week after Biscuit shaved his eyebrows and his head. His hair in 1 week had already grown noticeably. Like it looked more in than the top of my head. And I shaved this like a month and a half ago.
yeah,
Why did he do that?
on camera.
Hayden talked him into it.
Oh,
He was
Well,
going to give him a shirt. I don't think he ever gave him a shirt because he didn't have one big enough for him.
Oh, he gave him a coffee mug.
Coffee mug.
I won a shirt. I have it. It's a trigger warning shirt. They sent to me, which is pretty wild.
I noticed Hayden at the very beginning before he was drunk. He there was nothing but pedo jokes and incel jokes. To like, if you played video games, you were an incel, and if you were a guy, he made a reference of you being a pedo. But then when he got loose later on, because he got just completely trashed, he couldn't stop laughing, and he had this like smoker's laugh. It was just
Right.
unbelievable. It was that's
Like you go
all
dying
you
on me.
heard. He couldn't stop laughing. It
I
was
don't
a good
remember
time,
that.
though. Yeah, it was a good time.
Where did you find this? Is this on the Trigger Warning channel or
Well, it's not Trigger. It's Alt Feed, actually, is the name of the channel.
Alt Feed?
I thought it was.
But
Wasn't it Trigger Warning, Smokesteve, when you used to do it from their channel?
Yeah, it was.
Because I tried finding it, and then it was. I came up with it. Like even your shows, when you did them on that channel, are in a. The channel is now called Alt Feed.
Yeah, see, at the time, it went from Live Leak to Trigger Warning.
Right.
And everyone thought that was a great name. And then he came up with this alt feed thing. And I remember I DM'd him and was like, dude, people are going to think this is alt right. And he sent me a text back and like, the name is fucking alt feed. It's alt feed. That's it. And I was like, okay, alt feed it is, buddy. Good. Sounds great. Like my advice had no fucking bearing on his decision of alt feed.
I don't think alt-right is a thing in England. It's a U.S. thing.
Right. And I brought it up to Smoke Wife, and she was like, alt-right? That's the first thing she said when she saw it and heard it. And I said, that's kind of what I thought of. But like you say, it's not a thing over there. So to him, it was just an alternate feed. Like not YouTube, not the bullshit that you're accustomed to. It's an alternate place to come for media news, whatever. Obviously, it didn't really take off, but
the interesting thing with this name change was if you ever for some reason try to search Trigger Warning in YouTube, you'll come across this. It basically shuts down and it's like, do you need help? And it like gives you this 1-800 suicide prevention number like that. And because I was like, oh, it must just be a trigger word, that I just need to get past. So I tried to change the search terms to channels, and I'd hit search again, and it basically comes back to that first page where it's like wanting me to go to. I don't know. Apparently, they do not want you to search for Trigger Warning on YouTube for some reason.
Okay.
If you don't believe me, go and search Trigger Warning on YouTube, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, I'm gonna.
So that's when I was like, well, how do I find it? I can't remember how I eventually found it.
Top, well, jump on here if you would, Top. Yeah, kind of like the Good Samaritan signs that you see near railroad crossing.
You're not alone.
Right.
If you or someone that is having a hard time, talk to somebody today. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Call 988.
You are now on the list, Dance.
They have those all around the Cape Cod Canal bridges, the Bourne and the Sagamore, because I guess a lot of people jumped off of them. And of course, they have the nets on the Golden Gate. This is a really cheery subject. Stick around. We're not on Vax Talk anymore. We're on something far worse.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Based isn't on here because there was a study at Washington University, which probably is the only reason I came up with it, was because Washington University is based in St. Louis, but it was the benefits of the what do you call it, the jab. What's that thing called when you get that?
Gene therapy.
That and the booster, like how long it lasts, way longer, like years, and it also has prevented other the mutation of the disease too. It is also, but it was kind of a glowing report of the
of a new form of that technology. It's you're saying there's a new form of the technology?
Well, I think he was saying more the results of it were.
Yeah, the vaccine and the boosters, like we've had even better results than we originally thought we did from
a recent report.
Doing different things, and it sounded like it was these super, like Washington University is like one of the best medical schools in the country. And it sounded like it was from what I gather, it sounded pretty credible what I was hearing.
I'm sure it was.
Now, speaking of universities, do you guys agree with Harvard delaying the graduation of some 10 to 15 students for their involvement in this encampment protest that took place, which was a pro-Palestine protest that escalated into a breach of conduct and breaking of the rules of Harvard, and caused these students to fall into they're not seen as good students. They're not in high esteem or whatever, so they're not considered eligible for graduation because of this, because of their behavior.
Well, I mean,
what did they do?
Yeah, what was the conduct?
What rule did they break? I mean, if they broke a rule, they broke a rule.
They
Multiple.
made this encampment to start, which was against the rules, but the school allowed them to stay for a certain amount of time, then told them to leave now. You're impeding on other people. There had been situations where people from the encampment had followed other students around because these other students voiced opposition to them. And basically, the school was like, all right, that's enough. You've harassed other students and you're distracting and taking away from the general campus.
Was there assault?
Thing down. There wasn't any physical assaults, but they were ordered to take the thing down. They were trespassed, and essentially they ignored all of that and went well beyond this.
I mean, they're not being. They are graduating. They're just not being allowed to attend.
They're not being
graduation.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not. They can't participate in the ceremony.
Right. They're
I
going
have
to get
nothing wrong with them being shamed for being a menace.
They're getting mailed their diploma, and about 1,000 people at the commencement or the graduation or whatever it was walked out on it because of it in solidarity with you.
See ya.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to know the details to know whether I would support it or not.
Right.
It seems fairly punitive, but I don't know whether it's reasonable or not. I'm sorry.
Now, what I wonder is there a general hatred of them because of what they're standing for? Because a lot of people believe that it's an act that's incorrect, if you will. Like they're on the wrong side of history for what they're standing for. So is there some sort of vilification of them because what they're protesting is not popular amongst adults, not college students?
I think that it's conduct more than concept. So whatever side they're standing up for or poo-pooing, it's more a matter of what they're doing. That's the problem I have. If you're going to verbally assault, harass, make people miss their classes, there'd be these other kids that are trying to do something that they paid for that they're trying to deal with, so I don't respect disrespect.
Right. No, that's legit. Anyone else?
I would have to know the details. I don't trust universities. I don't trust them either way. So I don't trust. I mean, I don't think. Who are these students unpopular with? They're not unpopular with the adults that run the school. They're not unpopular with the faculty. They're not unpopular with the administrators.
I mean, you're
perhaps a few.
I think it is the admins that they're unpopular with.
Well, if you're asking if I think that they're really being punished because the admins hate their opinions and their politics, I think it's possible. I think it's possible that they found a good excuse to punish them that they were looking for all along. But I don't know enough of the details. I don't know who got punished. Were there individual determinations of guilt? Or was it just like, oh, you were in this group of people that, yelled at somebody, so, you were in this, so you're not going to be allowed. I mean, I don't know the details.
Yeah, I can't speak to the specific details like that. But what I will say is I do support Americans' right to protest. But it seems like protesters, ever since it really became a thing, probably as far as I'm familiar with, Vietnam War protests did things that were degrading to Vietnam veterans. So that made me hate protesters. Like when I heard of guys coming back and being spit on and stuff like that and being yelled at, shit, veterans, like, so like I think that immediately paints protesters, specifically college protesters, in a bad light in most people's minds, even though it's in our Constitution that we do have the right to protest. But I think what ends up happening is these protests end up breaking the law in many circumstances. And that is why it escalates to something that's far more than a protest. It's disturbing the peace. It's infringing on other people's rights. It's blocking traffic. And last dance, I do remember you even saying that you're not completely opposed to that level of blocking traffic for protests.
I mean, it is a crime, but there's a long tradition of civil disobedience where you block traffic. You have to pay the price. You have to go to jail because that's how it is. That's what civil disobedience means. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Have you seen any of the interviews where the guys go into these college campus protests and ask simple questions to the people protesting, and they have no idea, literally no idea, about simple concepts like what is Islam, what is Hamas's main goal, what is Zionism, what is that, and they're like, I don't know.
Well,
why are you chanting from the river to the sea? You don't even know which river or sea. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's a very common one, and none of them know that it's.
I'm not at all surprised. I haven't seen these interviews, but I would have never expected these students to know what any of this stuff means.
So why champion it? What is the virtue signaling gain? You're just part of the herd.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is.
And the funny thing is, like, it takes 1 second to learn what the river and what the sea is, and the fact that they're speaking words that they have no idea what they're saying, it does show the shallowness of their comprehension there.
Right.
But the passion that they show for what we all see is, there is a destruction going on of cities, of people, of lives, families, innocent people. That's certainly something that's worth discussing. That's sort of the part that gets lost in this, the part that they're seemingly protesting for the people that are, the civilians of Palestine, of Gaza, whatever, it almost seems like we're talking about the protests and the graduations and shit more, that nobody actually talks about what's happening over there, right? It's like that part of it is essentially ignored. So in that sense, it seems like their protests are kind of irrelevant. If you know what I mean?
There's no value to anything that individual is doing to me personally. If they have no idea what they're saying or doing, I just see them as a nuisance, especially if they're going to be the people that like block a road or something. You're just like, you're literally destroying commerce with your ideals. You're screwing over a whole bunch of people. Some of them might even agree with your ideals, but
here's the way I look at it. Those most of those people are complete idiots that go to these things and do these things. But the reason they're going to it is because there's a push from, whether it's on their end just to get likes on social media or just do what their buddy wants them to go to, and they get wrapped up in it and they're passionate about it. But it's like almost like voting. They're getting that. The population is feeding them, with the conversations we're having and to force them into doing what they're doing. So, they might be speaking for, because a lot of people do feel that what's going on in Palestine and what the you know
Israelis.
that they're going too far with what it is. So they're voicing our opinion on this that there needs to be a little bit of a pushback to be like, look, we're not all cool with.
Is that how you
certain-
feel?
Me?
You.
It's funny because a lot of times it's counterproductive because, yeah, I was getting to a point where I was like, man, come on, Israel, I mean, so many innocent women and children, is this really fair, and then I have a real Jewish friend that tells me, tries to compare it to 9/11 and all the people that died in 9/11 compared to the amount of people that got killed October 7th or whatever it was last year, and the percentage of the population, it's like 10 9/11s or something, and how we felt then, and tried to explain it to me how that was, but it just doesn't seem. I don't know. It just seems like they're just going way too far with.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Mr. Kill pointing out the fact they still have hostages.
Maybe.
I don't think. I mean, they don't care about their own people. Do you really think that they care about some people they captured 6 months ago?
Well,
or
his
whatever it
point
was?
behind that is they still supposedly have hostages, and they are still actively, firing into, and their proxies are firing into Israel. So they're
Yeah, and the people, the Palestinians, this is their, their government, their form of government, and they kind of voted them into power, years ago, and I think that a big portion of that population is fine with, how they conduct business. So the fact that it's just like if we made a decision and somebody attacked us for our government's decision, you couldn't blame them for attacking us on our own soil because of what our government did, even though we didn't make that decision. But it just seems like, I don't know, they're just going to lay waste to this place, and because it almost seems like they kind of wanted, it's kind of an excuse for them now to lay waste to it and dispose.
What
of
is
them
actually
once and for
happening
all.
over there? There's been hiatus for like 2 weeks now, right? They got to the point where they're the final front and they are stalling, or what's happening?
I don't know. I mean, you mean the invasion of Rafah
Right.
has not occurred yet. I don't know what they're waiting for.
It seems like it's a hiatus type situation.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I think they have to go in and do as much damage as they can to Hamas. I don't think it matters whether Hamas releases whatever hostages are still alive. I don't think it matters. Hamas is still. If Hamas comes out as strong as they are when they went in, then there's just going to be a repeat of 10/7. In a few years. So
how are they tracking these people so perfectly to know
Facebook.
exactly where they are?
how is Israel tracking Hamas?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I assume Hamas communicates with their fighters to position them.
Well, we have technology to track our enemies. So are they using the same technology that we have, or are we giving them some sort of information?
It could be Iran, even. It could be other friendlies that are giving information.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any lack of technology that Israel, lacks. Israel has satellites and drones and listening equipment and intelligence agencies and all those things, and listening outposts and undercover agents, moles. I mean, they have a complete intelligence apparatus.
Right.
There's always going to be holes in that apparatus. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting for. I think perhaps the problem is that Biden. They're worried that Biden is going to, is going to cut them off.
Yeah, I mean, does this thing coming from the international court? What the fuck is this? There's now they issued arrest warrants for the leaders of Hamas as well as Benny Gantz and Netanyahu. Is that right? I mean, does this have
I
any?
believe that Netanyahu, now has an arrest.
Does this have any bearance on reality? Is this just
It
like
does
nothing?
It has no bearing on reality.
Yeah, not from what I heard. I think it's like
Oh no, the leader of Hamas has now been in. The UN says he's a bad guy. Oh no.
The International Criminal Court, the
International-
ICC, is that it?
Yeah, they have no authority. They can pronounce anything they want. They don't have any authority. So
Were these the people that like ran the Nuremberg trials?
no,
Okay, 'cause that would give them some, precedent for
Well,
doing something significant.
no. The Nuremberg trials were run by the victors in World War II. That was the U.S., France, and the UK,
UK.
and Russia.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And that one guy, right? He died not long ago. Ended up
Rudolf Hess, you talking about?
not the Nazi guy. He was a Nazi hunter. Famous dude.
Simon
Dog?
Wiesenthal?
Did he have long blonde hair? Dog?
Dog.
Doug, that's him. Not Topple is here, so I'm gonna guess that's not Topple. Or
It's Topple. He does that
It's
all the
Topple.
time.
Buddy's gonna show himself.
I don't know.
I'm gonna take a leak and grab some booze. You guys
Okay.
are listening.
Does your headset reach?
For the beer, amazingly, but not for the booze, which is upstairs. Maybe I'll make a whiskey sour. That's gonna take like a minute and a half.
Well,
Last
we'll be
dance, you
here.
still with us here? You fading?
Hey man, I'm recovering from a vaccine that kicks your ass. So give me a
What
break.
vaccine
I'm
did
still
you get?
here.
What
The
vaccine did
shingles.
you get?
Shingles.
Oh, yeah, you're at that age.
VZV.
Shingles doesn't care.
What was that
Let me
again?
see
The herpes shingles virus?
Herpes zoster.
No,
Hey, Tom.
Verizoster.
No,
Verizoster virus.
Verizoster?
Yeah, VZV.
VZV.
Have you
It
guys
is a
ever had
herpes
shingles?
virus, but it's called Verizoster.
The herpes.
Have you had shingles either? Any of you guys?
I have not.
I've had shingles. And
You
they're
have?
fun.
Did it
No
kick your
shit.
ass?
Shingles,
wasn't so much
also
the
known
shing-
as herpes zoster, is a viral disease.
Huh?
It,
Right,
it
you
wasn't
guys
so much.
continue with the herpes talk. I'll be back in a few.
You got it, buddy.
Shingles is caused by the varicella zoster virus that also causes chickenpox.
It
I've
stays
had
dormant in
chickenpox,
you. You get it as a
It
youth, and
wasn't-
it stays dormant.
It wasn't so much the shingles that sucked; it was the lack of sleep that sucked, and that after.
Why
a
did
few
you lack?
days- Because you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like uncomfortable. Your back's it was on my back because that's where it comes from, like your spine, and it's just real uncomfortable. And you have a hard. You just like I'm sure you've had an injury where you have a hard time sleeping because.
Yeah, I'm dealing with
Of
shit
the
like
injury.
that. I hear you. I was just curious
And
if it was like a pain or what, but if you're itchy, that makes sense
Yeah,
too.
it's real. It's a little itchy, yeah, but I feel like it was the tightness and you can't get your back won't get comfortable. It's so like this.
Was there
Yeah.
any remedies for it, like aloe vera on your skin or anything like that?
Well, I took a medicine. I don't remember putting any lotion or anything on it.
You put the lotion on his skin.
How long did it bother you?
It was a good, probably two solid weeks of dealing with
Wow.
it.
Yeah,
I think when you're older, it gets worse.
I read that 1 in 3 people will get shingles. So I knew that the vaccine was going to knock me down for a day or two, but I decided it was a good deal.
Is it
Yeah,
I
is
would.
is it receiving when you take it of getting shingles of outbreak? Is a chance?
No, you won't get shingles by taking the vaccine.
Okay.
I would sacrifice a day for not getting it in the feature for sure. It was shitty.
I also read that 1 in 15 people who have had shingles get it again.
Right. My
Yeah,
grandmother
and
had it twice.
I've had it twice too. I had it once when I was like a teenager, and then I had it again not that long ago.
Teenager is very young to get it, actually.
Yeah, because it's usually brought on by stress, which
Okay.
for me
All
is
those pool
always
halls.
at a level like 200 stress wise.
When I was running them riverboats, I was stressed out all the time.
And it was around there was several things that happened, and one of the main things, my mother had a quintuple bypass surgery.
Good God. It's, yeah, the bypasses that people get, it's, I wish the doctors taught them that they have to change their diet or else they're going to die, because the little vein that they use to bypass it chalks up and calcifies up so quickly compared to the original valve even that they had. So it'll make you feel good for a short period of time, but if you don't change what you're consuming, it's just a short period of time. Did she last a while after she had that operation?
She's still kicking. My mother is
Awesome.
My mom. There's nothing's gonna break her down. She's almost 80, and she's busier than I am.
Good for her.
Life. It's crazy, but yeah, she kicked that thing in its ass, just like she did. You know, she had colon cancer and like a bunch of her large intestines or something removed. That didn't slow her down. This didn't slow her down. She's just amazing.
Will you be the offspring that cares for her if she ever needs that in her lifetime, or will it be another of your siblings, you think?
Well, I only have a brother, and my brother actually, he doesn't have a car or any modes of transportation besides my mom, and he lives in the city. But he comes out every weekend and cuts her grass, and I give him a lot of credit for as much as I've like Ted Cruz shitting on his dad, as much as I've shat on my brother over the years. I give him a lot of credit in his older days with doing right by my mom.
Yeah, that's cool.
Although she does, when she has them, because she goes and picks him up from the train station or bus stop or whatever, and I don't think he ever pays for a meal when he's here for the weekend, but that's fine,
I can't really stand being a passenger driving with older people. Like I'm not comfortable because they drive like they don't care if they're alive anymore, and I still do. So a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I don't know, because I always drive when I'm in the vehicle with my mom, even if it's her car, I drive. But my brother isn't legally capable of doing that, so she does drive. I'd have to have that conversation with him, I guess.
I hope that there's a decent period of time before any more caregiving is in my life, because it sucks. It sucks to watch anybody head in that direction, and especially if it lasted for a very long time. So I'm hoping that if there is any more loss of family members, it's just like it's not a drawn out process.
Oh yeah. My mom. I don't think my mom could handle anything like that. She wants a swift. She's like, don't feel sorry for me if you come over here, and I'm in bed and I'm dead, because I got my wish.
Yeah, just high five me and burn my body. Are you guys? Do you care if you're burned, or do you want to be not burned, or do you care what happens?
I care less. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. I said don't waste money, with a pan.
That's what I said.
Because
Same deal.
We've been through unfortunately, my family, all sides, have been through recent situations where it seems like, you get to the age and RW, you'll hit it at some point. And but
I want a funeral pyre.
It's almost like a racket, man. It's just it's.
Oh, dude, the money involved with that? Good God.
It could break you, and it's so unfair, and you're already in a vulnerable situation.
Yep.
It just seems like there's
if funeral pyres are legal, because we have enough wood on this property that we can just.
Of course, they're not legal, so you don't ask
No.
anybody for permission.
Yeah. And I think that that's a travesty. And the same thing with, I've said this for years with animals, with dogs, that it's like frowned upon if you have a dog that's lived in your house his whole life, to give him a bunch of sleeping pills or something, give him some kind of pill, crack it up and put it in his dog food, and he just takes it and goes to sleep and never wakes up. I mean, to me, that seems like the most logical situation, instead of bringing him into some veterinarian and doing the walk of shame, sitting in that waiting room. If you guys have been in this situation before, it's horrible. It's
Just
not good for the dog. It's not good for the dog.
Who's has to do this?
Every time you put a dog down.
Is this something that's imminent for you?
No, I'm just saying, we were talking about death and like what happens to us after we're gone, and like if we care, and how much
like burn your body or bury it.
The expense that's so the same thing, the Kevorkian thing. I never, was against that. I mean, being in those situations. Dr. Kevorkian, don't you remember that guy, Dr. Death, the guy that would go to your house if you were dying of cancer, and he kept going to trial because he was assisting people's suicides. And
you see the CO2 with CO2.
No, he didn't do CO2. No, he didn't use CO2.
Okay, because there's those 3D printed kits you can get now that come from Europe, and it's a little. It looks like a cocoon pod from the Cocoon movie, and you get into it and you hook up the CO2 and just push a button and see you later. I don't recommend it.
CO, I think, is what it is.
What?
I understand that there needs to be some
CO, carbon monoxide. Right?
Okay. I thought it was CO2, but I guess that would burn, so I don't know.
You would asphyxiate off of carbon dioxide as well.
But it wouldn't be very pleasant. Carbon monoxide is
pleasant.
It's very effective.
That's how come every year you hear of families who stupidly set up a generator in their garage and don't wake up.
Right.
Maybe
that happened at
Welshman's not here.
That happened at a racetrack not too far from here, where a drag racetrack where it rained the night before, so they all slept in the trailer, and they had I don't know if they were charging the battery or in the race car or whatever, but they didn't have the generator properly ventilated. And it was like, I don't know how many it was, like 4 of them, I think, that died inside the enclosed trailer.
Yeah, and Topple bringing up a great controversial subject here. Well spotted, my man. We all didn't lock in on that. Christy Nome just shot one of her dogs for nipping at her or attempting to bite her. I don't want to downplay it.
Click, clack, bitch.
It is him, Topple. I'm clicking you on right now. There he is.
Do you support Christy Noam? Is that what you're saying?
His audio's working.
Yeah,
what's up, buddy?
We can hear you, Topple.
Oh. Hi. How are you guys doing?
All right.
Good, man.
Just do a rail on your arm.
No, my allergies are
Let's
That's what it sounded.
Like everyone thinks what Christy Nome did is so bad, but 80 or 100 years ago or whatever, back in the days of old Yeller,
common. It's still common on farms.
That's
out here it's common.
Yeah, it's common. It's not. It's the way she described it was like you're an idiot, but
it's usually a neighbor's dog. It's not your own dog that you're usually taking out. It's another dog property that you take out.
What do they do that in the mean streets of Philly? Not Topple? I mean, come on, no one's shooting dogs down there.
Yeah, they do. Are you kidding me? All the dog fighting.
Okay.
That's what Michael Vick and the dogs.
Michael Vick, yeah.
Yummy.
Fucking guys sucked. I actually got into a call-in sports talk show talking about Michael Vick. They featured my voicemail on that one.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You were pro Michael Vick?
hated Michael Vick. I said all Michael Vick's ever going to be is I was pro dog at the time, apparently, unlike
Yeah.
you guys know today. But
Yeah, he was such a flip.
Hey, I was about
He's
to
a-
say you're a big fan.
I didn't know you to be a flip flopper.
yeah, I really hard to believe I actually like dogs, but yeah, yeah. I
Man,
never
he
liked
was fun. He was fun to watch, though.
Vic, yeah, but
Yeah.
then we realized after so many years and so many of that style quarterback ain't gonna work, man. Get smashed,
Oh,
you know. It's just not right. It's not a good method to win Super Bowls, in my opinion.
we all can't have Tom Brady as a quarterback. They're Smokesteve.
Yeah,
Isn't China working on the cloning program though?
What?
Yeah, once they perfect the cloning program, everybody can have Tom Brady on their team.
I thought that was not allowed.
Well, it's not allowed.
What happened to Dolly the sheep or whatever the hell its name was?
Oh, Donna? No.
Dolly. It was Dolly.
Was it
Just
Dolly?
You got it right.
It was in the UK.
Was it Dolly? No.
It was Dolly. It was like 25 years ago.
There's six sick bastards in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember they
Was
showed
Dolly.
they showed us side by
Glad
side.
none of those
that
fuckers
sheep.
came up tonight.
They showed a side by side of Dolly with the sheep that it was cloned from, and they were like, "Look, they look the same." And I'm always like,
So do
Oh.
all the other ones.
All,
Yeah.
sheep, look,
they
all
all
sheep look alike. I'm a,
"Same." That's
They
I'm a-
taste exactly
I'm a
alike.
speciesist.
they even have like memes and expressions like sheep and sheeple because they're all the same. That's the thing with sheep, you know. But
Right.
Where I remember seeing it when I was just kind of ignorant, dumb. I was like, "Well, they do look the same. Holy shit!" Now, like I was redneck back then, but yeah, like fuck. And how did
Your
they do
dialect has
that?
changed a lot up there.
What did they do? Like, how did that happen? Did they start that dolly, that whole entire sheep, from one cell?
Wow.
Is
I
that
don't
what it
remember.
was?
I'm not sure how they used the tech. They most likely took an embryo and spliced into it or something. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be some level of like artificial insemination or
Yeah.
test tube sheep or
Like
something?
the pre CRISPR. CRISPR is the hot technology now where they're splicing genes, but whatever they did before that. Stem cells, I guess, into an embryo. Who knows?
She was cloned from a single cell.
Really?
Yep.
But how? That doesn't make sense. It'd have to go into an embryo because it would be a mass lump of meat. Like, how does that even work?
She was cloned by using a process of nuclear transfer from a cell taken from her mammary gland.
Wow.
Cloning
Are you
proved that a
did you
clone
just
organism-
Google this, or is this
Just
common
Google.
knowledge with you?
Dance is just so smart.
I'm looking. I'm reading Wikipedia. Obviously,
Oh, okay, okay.
Accessing port.
accessing. Stand by. Accessing.
This motherfucker's got a brain on him.
I can't believe I remember Dolly the sheep.
Yeah,
This
it
was
good.
in 1996.
Yeah, I do
Was it
remember. I
96?
do remember Dolly.
She died at age 6.
Ooh, didn't live long, huh?
What's
Uh-oh,
the
bottle
average
caps
age?
I
in
don't know how long she lived.
Like the sheep.
What did the one that was cloned from live to?
3 weeks.
I don't know.
However long it takes to become an adult, and then probably shit the bed.
This was done in Scotland.
Oh,
We need to wait for more haggis.
Cup of Tea brings up Harambe. What was Harambe? A gorilla or a
it was the
lion?
gorilla that
It was a
did
gorilla.
something to the kid.
It was a silverback, wasn't it?
I think so. Is that the one that the kid fell in the enclosure?
Yeah, McGee. What time are you gonna be back?
So
What was wrong with killing the gorilla to save the kid? Sounds right to me.
No, there was nothing wrong with it. It was a shame.
Rami's like, it's my chance. Y'all motherfuckers keep me in this cage all the time. I'm gonna kill him.
I mean, the gorilla wasn't attacking the child, but it could have at any time.
What's the big deal? Fucking gorilla. Who cares?
Well, I care, but it had to be done. I know that.
Save the child, throw the parents into it, and let the girl have at it.
Now, what was the lion that the dentist or whatever shot and killed? This happy-go-lucky lion that everyone fucking flipped out.
Oh, I don't remember.
Wait, dentist?
Yeah, it did have a name though. Although who knows if it was
It was like
that lion.
it was a trophy hunter from the United States paid
Yeah.
30 grand to go kill a lion and
Right.
went over and shot this thing that was like
Took out
everybody's buddy and didn't go over well.
Yeah, I can't get on board with the trophy hunts. That's like if you're gonna shoot a deer and eat it, go for it, man. America, whatever. But if you're gonna be a rich bastard and go over and take a life just so you can take a tusk and put it on your mantle and be like, look how cool I am. I'm like, yeah, you're pretty cool, bro.
I disagree with you because I think a lot of those times that money goes to these
Poacher?
Oh no, they pay legitimate licensing fees and stuff in these countries, which don't have a lot of commerce. So they're making money off of this.
Who is?
The countries or they're managing these ecosystems to allow for a certain amount of the animals to be shot. And if they want to sell it to rich Western hunters, if it's done in a managed way, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I don't think it's that great, but I'm not opposed to it, I gotta say. As long as it's managed properly. Like if there's 100,000 water buffalo or a Cape buffalo and they decide, we can kill 3,000 of them, we can sell these licenses for, 20 grand a piece. And it creates industry and jobs for these places that aren't doing that great. It's capitalism.
You think that's the concern of these people allowing these people to kill endangered tigers?
But again,
let's save the population.
If it's endangered, it shouldn't be.
We'll only accept 30,000 from one idiot American.
Well, they should be managed. What I'm saying is they should be managed in such a way that it wouldn't be an endangered species. Like there are places where there are too many lions or too many elephants.
Yeah, but too many lions. What? Because we want that land that they've had for millions of years.
Well, do you have anything to say here?
Apparently, because we've dissected and bisected the country and the borders with fences and stuff. They do have to manage numbers because it's not like the Africa of the old days where there were free roaming, this, that, and the other thing. It is heavily influenced by all of this stuff. So
I don't know. I can't get on board with your information because Africa is like you could fit how many other countries in Africa? It's still
it's big.
I don't know. I don't know. I just have to see like where the money's coming from, what animals they're shooting. It's just to me, it's people making money instead of being stewards of the earth. They're using the earth for financial capital gains, and it's hard for me to see that as a good thing.
$1,000.
Cecil, that was it. Cecil.
He bow hunt it. What did he bow hunt? What did he kill?
$54,000.
An elderly lion.
He killed a lion with a bow?
Yeah.
Like a metal cage.
That they walk worse than Last Dance.
Well, the thing with Cecil is it was cool with people, so Cecil was
Scurry left its definition decades ago.
Cecil was probably like, oh, look, people, let's go get some treats.
Right.
Like right in the heart. It wasn't, it wasn't some fucking creature out in the bush hiding and plotting to kill you. This was a good old Cecil.
It was.
I don't agree.
For me, I would not go to Palmer Dentistry after that. I don't know if his business flourished, but
I'll tell you, you take your flip-flops
His
off.
lobby was decorated with his trophies.
right. Wow, that's a nice rug you got there.
Feeling above the chair.
Yeah, once you felt lion rug on your toes, you've never felt anything similar. Boy, it's a nice waiting room. Let me just say that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Old Cecil. And they had to give it that stupid emotional name of Cecil. I mean, give me a break. This thing would
Cecil.
eat your face if it had a chance to. Fucking Cecil.
It wouldn't even realize it.
Yeah. They kill and eat people, and they don't know it
You can't prove the intent, Smokesteve.
calories. That's their intent. Food.
People are probably the easiest prey that they could ever kill. They're too slow, too fat.
You just send them a message on Facebook and ask them for their cell phone number. That's how you kill them.
I'm not going to read John Grammaticus's comment there, but fairly funny, John.
Oh,
There's a place in Australia, I believe it is.
Not,
that's called
that's not good.
it's called Downies with Brownies, and it's actually a brownie shop that is run by people with Down syndrome, and it's extremely popular. And I thought that was awesome that they embraced themselves and enjoyed doing what they did.
Yeah, I think that's great too. Agree. If they're in on naming it that and they think it's funny and let's do it. Fuck yeah.
Most people I've met that have any type of mental issue have an awesome character and sense of humor. I've never interacted with one that was like toxic. That's usually just the normal people.
Well said.
I did meet one that had Tourette's though. That was very different. That was a very different experience, but it was still, fun, enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't know much about Tourette's other than from what I remember from the movie What About Bob, when they're just yelling like, I do remember them yelling turkey tits in that movie.
Yeah,
you guys remember turkey tits?
No.
I don't. You're always on guard though. You're always like, you never know what's going to happen at any given moment. It's very stressful if you're not used to that environment.
Imagine. In a sneaky, decent movie, What About Bob?
It's one of my favorites. I just
Richard
find it funny
Dreyfuss.
that's your knowledge of
Tourette's. You remember that scene,
horrible
right?
disease. Yeah, like he would act out things that he was afraid of getting himself, so that way he increased his chances of not having them.
Right.
It's brilliant.
It's a pretty good movie. It was kind of strange, kind of neurotic.
It's a great movie.
Neurotic, odd.
No, Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. I don't think.
Yeah, Dreyfuss was a weird character. Just kind
Good
of
though.
over,
He played that role pretty good though.
Oh no, I have seen that one.
I thought he overacted a little bit.
You think so? You think so?
Bit. The whole thing with the stump, the shit that blow up tree stumps, stump powder or whatever, when he tied him to the tree and had like all the fucking TNT tied to him or whatever.
He was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. What do you expect?
Right, and he himself was a psychiatrist or whatever. So
right.
It was a good one.
82% Rotten Tomatoes.
82?
Wow, that's
82.
really good.
That's high, yeah. And I think
97. 97 for Last Stop in Yuma County. I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Was it a New Hampshire lake? New Hampshire?
Lake Winnipesaukee, wherever.
Yeah. I've been there before.
Did you watch it yesterday or something?
No, I just know that I'm a fan of a few of Bill Murray's works.
Fair enough.
that's
Royal Tenenbaums is another one that. Bill
Are
Murray
you guys
was in.
familiar with that lake by name even?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's the largest lake in the United States that's completely contained inside one state.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, all of the Great Lakes actually jump into more than one state. And
Yes.
Lake Champlain is cut in half by New York and Vermont.
Right.
So yeah, it's a damn good sized lake.
It must be, because Lake of the Ozarks is huge here in Missouri. That's not.
And Aerosmith is from that area. as well as the band Boston live. You know, it's kind of both of them are associated as Boston bands. Both of them are actually Lake Winnipesaukee originated type people, bands, whatever. In
Lake
fact,
Winnipesaukee.
Am I the only one here that thinks Bill Murray is overrated?
Bill Murray.
He's done some horrible movies, but
I
he has
like
done some.
Groundhog Day. I think that's
He's
my
done some
favorite.
brilliant movies too.
Osmosis Jones. I like that one.
Ever saw Osmosis Jones?
Yeah, I've never seen
Groundhog
that
Day,
one.
I'd give it out. I mean, intentionally, it was repetitive. I mean, I know that's a stupid review, but it was too repetitive. It was fucking the same day over and over again. Cool concept.
Oh, Groundhog Day. I don't know. I the concept of being stuck in a time loop and being miserable and like just taking yourself out in all these different ways. I don't know. It's just there's dark humor to me.
Yeah.
But he was the sleaze bag the whole way through. Like even in the end, he was still sleazy.
He was also in the movie Scrooged, which was a pretty good, sneaky good Christmas movie where he's. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one.
I've seen it.
I
Not
don't-
my favorite
I'm not sure.
of his works.
Not the best, but not terrible.
Caddyshack, he's good in. You know,
He was incredible. Caddyshack's one of my all times.
Ghostbusters.
It's been a long
Incredible.
time since I've seen Ghostbusters.
Incredible.
I was down at Pocomoke, Maryland the other day, and a guy had bought an old ambulance and decked it out with all the Ghostbusters stuff all over it. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bill Murray was in Galaxy Quest?
I don't know.
Probably a
Mr.
camera.
Kelsey's a big fan of Richard Dreyfuss. No wonder he likes me so much. I think that I have a resemblance to Richard Dreyfuss in my older age, unfortunately.
100.
I often thought you were Richard Dreyfuss until a few years ago.
Well, yeah, Richard Dreyfuss was in two of my favorite movies of all time, Jaws and Stand By Me.
He was
Oh,
in Stand By Me?
He was the
he was
orator,
the narrator.
narrator. Yeah,
And he does have a small role in the beginning and end for sure. I don't know about the beginning.
He was in, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but it had that famous Talking Heads song.
Burning Down the House.
No, you may,
Ask
you
yourself-
may have a beautiful wife. And
Yeah.
You may have a great automobile, and you
You
Right.
may ask yourself, why such a big suit?
exactly. What was the name of that movie? Something
The
about
Trump-
Hollywood?
Well, there's the Truman Show with Jim Carrey.
No.
That song was heavily featured in that.
It's like something down and out in Hollywood. It had. It also
Oh.
had Nick Nolte.
I think
Yeah,
it is
had
called
Nick
Down.
Nolte.
It is called Down and Out in Hollywood, I think.
Okay.
It had Nick
Isn't it?
Nolte and Bette Midler.
And Bette Midler, who was Richard Dreyfuss's wife in the movie.
And Nick Nolte fills his pockets with coins or padlocks and jumps into their swimming pool to
Down
kill
and Out in
themselves.
Beverly Hills. That's it.
And he, after they save Nick Nolte, he becomes like a fixture in their house. They-
Yeah.
You're losing one of the audience if you want to say goodbye. Mr. E said no.
All right.
Who is-
Take it easy, Mr. E.
Oh, mystery. All right. See you later, man. Come back next time, y'all. You hear?
You heard?
He's a mystery, but we could probably figure him out.
That's
Why,
probably
you
why he's
think
got
he
that
have-
name.
You think you have him figured out?
Nah, he says he's a live leaker who posted a lot of controversial content. That doesn't really narrow it down, does it?
No. But DM me if you know who he is.
I have no clue.
But I'm cool. I love to have an old live leaker here, and
Yeah.
I hope he gets it that we all are varying opinions. Some weeks back, people had labeled this show as a lefty show or something like that.
I agree with them.
Really?
Yep, you're all left.
Left of you,
Far.
perhaps.
It was once. Well, it was just Mr. Grande or McGrande, but it was far left with like 3 A's and 4 R's
Huh.
to emphasize how far he was.
We need
The-
a far right person here.
You're.
What?
I would think you're the most openly far right person here, Topple.
I'm
No, I
not
would say-
that right. I'm not that far right though. I'm
I
not.
mean, but for here, I mean, if I was into politics, I would be more conservative than you, I'm sure. But
RW, yeah, man, you're man in the mirror there, homeboy.
yeah, I'm
RW,
We
RW,
all
I
know
need to-
RW is right wing. It's obvious. That's what your initials are.
yeah.
RW, it's only fair that we all, the rest of us, fill you in on the fact that you cannot believe a single word Topple says, because most likely it is not a fair representation of his
I've
true
been
opinion.
truthful lately.
I take his words, but I also am just like summarizing every experience I've had with him over time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Topple's conservative, but if you say that, he'll begin to argue the other side.
Just sport, right? It's all sport.
Exactly.
No. I'm more center than all of you.
Yeah, but we all know who you're voting for.
You're even
Yeah.
starting to talk like Trump now. You're talking in absolutes.
What? Yeah.
I'm the most center I've ever seen.
It's a beautiful. It's a wonderful thing.
Are you still going down that road for the vote? Capital T.
Absolutely. Give me a reason to vote for Biden. Give me a reason.
Well, no, I'm
I'll let
not,
you guys talk me into voting for Biden right now.
no. Hold on. I'm not going to advocate for Biden. I didn't say that. I'm
Get your
I'm
student
a
loans
realist. There's only going to be two people you can vote for. I'm voting for Trump.
That's not
I'm not
true.
going to be the one that votes independent and be like, stand there and tell everybody later on, like, well, I didn't vote for him. I'm being realist. There's only going to be two people you can vote for. I'm going for Trump.
Well, I'm that guy who's
I
going to say
know.
later I didn't vote for either. I voted
I
for
know.
Doc Toastin from fucking East Bumfuck who doesn't.
I know, but that doesn't help anything.
Yeah, I know. Well, in Massachusetts, we always vote for the Democratic candidate.
Wait, is it Massachusetts that you have two districts of where the electrical
No,
Close. No.
no, we're all or nothing. The only two states are, I believe, Nebraska and there's another one. There's only two states that do it. Maine and
Oh, it's
Nebraska.
Maine.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they split them. So, the most unusual thing ever, Maine actually, I believe, gave Trump one vote and then 2 votes to Biden. In the last election, they had 3. The California's got something like close to 50. So, and therein lies, oh shit, fucking Welshman's here. Therein lies the whole reason for the Electoral College, because it dictates only the amount that a state can count towards. Like if everybody in California voted, it would have way more impact than.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't matter how many vote, it only matters the percentage to give the electorals to somebody. It's done. You pinned the link.
A quick side note.
It's in the description.
If anybody, he's on his phone though. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about there's a quarter going around that's bicentennial, 1976D, that's worth $1.2 billion. And there's a whole bunch of other 1976 prints now for the bicentennial quarter that are worth like $20 million a piece. It's ridiculous.
Oh, no.
Check your
Now-
change pocket, boys.
Now you brought up coins.
Is that a no-no?
I could tell you guys an in for a channel that's giving away a $3,000 coin.
The gold stuff, gold coin.
Yeah, the gold one.
Okay.
But
Just look for coins and get it, Aphid.
What am
You
I
get
supposed to look out for in my change?
1976D bicentennial quarter. But if you have an
Wait,
S,
quarter?
yeah.
I don't like carry
Yeah,
pennies.
it's a bicentennial. All right, I'll give it out. Here's the information. I'm just going to say it once.
Do it.
So pay attention, people.
Shill, baby.
The channel is called, and I'm going to give it to them for them. There's only 13 watching. It's called Silver Dragons. Silver Dragons, most recent video.
Flaming Dragon.
You
Sorry.
have to subscribe to the channel, and comment in the video. They're in 3 days, I think it's Tuesday, they're going to pick a winner, and they're going to give away a 1.2 ounce pure gold coin.
How many of your accounts did you sign up with?
It doesn't one. I don't have 1 million, so I'm probably not going to win. But if you want to do it, and I hope you win.
And show it to us on the show, because that'll be cool.
How pissed would you be if one of us
I got 250,000 subscribers.
That's the thing.
Dropping the
We
bucket,
started
baby.
doing this contest a while back at like 180, and he's done a bunch of them. And this one was when he gets 250,000, he was going to do this. So, hey, I'm just throwing it out there.
Which video is it?
If you click on their videos, it's the most recent video.
10 hours ago?
Yes.
So at 250,000 viewers, I would think that he can make $3,000 pretty quickly with his content.
I think so.
So he's literally throwing a bone. Like, it's not even. It's just a trinket.
Oh yeah.
That's cool though. I mean,
dudes,
you all know.
those dudes must make some serious bank though, because some of these bigger YouTubers, man, they just like it's just like
£30,000 a video, like Matt Armstrong. So 30,000.
man, they gotta make more. They gotta make more than 30,000 because like some of these channels, it's just like they're just like I mean,
Per
they just
video,
don't
though?
care.
Yeah, per video.
It's got to be more than 30,000 because some of them only make like one video a week, and it seems like they spend more than that in 1 week.
Well, it's sponsorship too. If you get a good sponsor, Welshman, how you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? Yeah, they got second channels as well. So maybe you only subscribe to the first channel, and they got second channels.
Well, I'm talking about like the big, like Cletus McFarlane, for example. I think he's got 2 or 3 million subscribers, and I mean,
I watch him
every video. If you just figure out what's going on, he spent $30,000.
Okay,
He's got like all these people working for him. So how's he paying them?
I'll tell you why. Because his merch is off the fucking scale.
Well, he's got this. He's got a racetrack now too, and he's holding events all the time. And I guess all these people
I think he made like $500,000 in 1 week just on merch or something. Took orders
just on the merch.
What got him started? Like, what was his thing?
The first thing he did, because you asked, so this is what happened. There was this channel called 1320, which was
That's correct.
it follows like car racing, and he was like he posted for their social media. Yep. And he goofed on one video, and they filmed it, and he's standing in front of this car, and he talked like a hillbilly kind of guy, and his name's not Cletus McFarlane, but that's what he said his name was, and it just like so many people, it went viral, so many people liked it and everything. So then he worked for them a little bit longer and created his own channel and just does kind of crazy car stuff, and he's got this track now and all kinds of shit going on.
Rough life, man. Rough life.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to take off.
Oh,
All
Last Dance. Always a pleasure, buddy.
Good
Take it
night,
easy.
Dude.
All right, have a great,
I
have a
hope you
great
feel
week.
better, man. Kick it in the nuts.
All
I
right,
Are you gone? You're still there? I really wish I could talk to you live. I don't know. Maybe we could figure something out.
You can do it.
Just get your opinion on something.
Sure.
You have the
All right.
Discord,
Cool.
Not
fella.
now. All right. Take it easy.
Later. I already said bye to him on our private chat.
Yeah, you did.
And he's a super mod. Super mod's gone, so I'm gonna keep it together.
So basically, no one else is allowed on at this point. So anybody that's been waiting, sorry about that.
No,
No
everyone's
risk
allowed.
to be taken.
Let's go. Come on, bring it on. People join in.
Full and filthy, man. He's active.
Based,
Going at
where
it.
you been all night?
I'm at a festival.
Like right now,
Oh.
you're like, are you standing out in the woods?
Suit?
Yeah, I'm in a field currently in my car. My tent got flooded on Wednesday.
Did Lee ever come up and join you for this thing?
No, he didn't. So I'm up there, like,
Lying bastard.
pretty good.
Oh shit!
Are you?
So was
is
it
there
cool?
any-
Like what?
Is there like women around? Like
Yeah,
dancing?
there's leg about. but it's mainly,
Hits are everywhere.
I suppose, my age, middle-aged slag, and I'm a bit younger, you know me.
That's fine.
So, yeah, it's cool. Nice, really chill place. It's all anti-lockdown, medical freedom sort of people.
How's the women
So,
look?
yeah, there's some nice women there, but like I said, there's a lot of oldies here too. So it's a mixture of sort
Hey man,
of
titties are titties.
just
Don't be picky.
traditional left wing people, but not they wouldn't call themselves left anymore.
Did you
No.
bring Trigger?
Yeah, Trigger's with me. He's
That's a
dog
wingman,
friendly.
Yeah,
Dog
Trigger
friendly.
brings the broads in. I'm sure he brings
Yeah,
them
he does.
in.
He does provide a lot of attention, especially when I stick him in my hoodie and you can only see his head.
Oh yeah, nice
His
move.
coals, they all love that.
Very nice. Well played. Dog in the hoodie.
So what have you been talking about, chaps?
Go for
We
it.
just been bullshitting a little bit.
How
This
dare
and that. The upcoming elections in the UK, which we were pointed out earlier, is coming up on July 4th for you guys.
I think so. I'm not 100%, but yeah.
And apparently there's some kind of a variable date for this sort of thing, and Rishi Sunak decided to do it now, do it soon.
Some could think that he's doing it now because we're going to go into full-out war with Russia, and he doesn't want to be a wartime prime minister. Some might say, because he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to choose it so soon. It doesn't really make much difference. You're going to get slaughtered at the polls. And I've got no sympathy for him.
Do you basically have two choices?
Did you just say that it's indefinite that you're going to go into war with Russia?
Well, some might say that Richie Sunak doesn't want to be a wartime prime minister because.
Well, I know, but I guess my more concern has nothing to do with Richie Sunak. It has to do with you think you're going to be in a full-out war with Russia.
Well, some might say.
Do you think that? Do you think that?
I like to be. I'm not see it as an option, but I like to, think that I'm thinking about it, and it could be the case. I'm not saying it is the case. I'm just saying it's possible, isn't it?
If it comes to that will be literally now. Like, I hate when people start with this World War III shit, but if the UK is going against Russia, to me that is World War III. That's like an escalation from Russia versus Ukraine to Russia versus the world. Because Ukraine's not in the world, quote unquote, because they're not a part of NATO, even though it's close and it's probably going to happen.
No, it's not.
Well,
has anybody here actually heard anything happening over there in the last couple of weeks? I think it's been pretty quiet for as much as I've briefly looked at the news over the last 2 weeks.
The reason why it's been quiet, and I keep on saying it, but it's, there's only one winner in this, sadly, for the other side, because numbers game. And
so they're just quietly letting it end in the background, or are they hiatusing it to make it last, or like?
Well, I'm watching a lot of the Telegram, and in the last 4 weeks, there's been basically all Russia are making inroads. Not huge inroads, but they're taking them down. Big artillery, moving forward, sacrificing men, lots of men, overflowing them with more artillery. They've got more.
Russia is sacrificing a lot of men.
Yeah, at the moment, North Korea sold them more basic weapons. I can't remember what it's called now, but not guidance. They're just like in this vicinity. They've sold them more. I think it's like a crazy. I don't want to say a number, but it's more than the US has supplied in total. Was their last supply from North Korea of this, and that's what they're doing. And they're overloading the Ukrainians with artillery fire. then moving forward, getting slaughtered in some cases. But
So
they're
the lines are moving. Lines are moving.
Yeah, lines are moving, and it's all one way for about 4 weeks now. And it's filtering, and yeah,
So
they are
basically,
losing men. The Russians are losing men because they're on the attack, and that's really because I've watched that Willie OAM chap, the X Factor,
Yeah.
and that's how he says it. Their tactics is to do that and overwhelm them, and sort of like just get that ground. And they are sacrificing men. They can afford to sacrifice men, sadly.
Mhm. Yeah. Seems like a lot of Russia is still fighting with. Are they using regular army? Are they using conscripts or prisoners? What is it?
I'm not 100%, but I've heard reports that the Russian army are more professional and more ready to fight now than they were when they started the war.
Right.
Is it a lot of mercs on that side too, or is it actually Russians?
Well, they've definitely got Africans there, and from an assortment of countries in Africa.
How does that work? Just a paycheck for the African?
Chechnya and all them lot. But yeah, you've got African mercenaries that are right on the Russian side, but definitely.
Okay, yeah, mercs, yeah. What a strange job choice, man. I guess if you're raised as a child soldier, it's just the next step of your life. I don't know.
And one more thing on the Ukraine thing, Zelensky said about 4 weeks ago, I might have said it before, that 31,000 men have sadly died in the 2 years and 2 months that it's been going on. But he's
Both sides?
No, he said 31,000 Ukrainians have lost their lives.
How many Russians?
Well, what he said then was, he said, well, we're looking to recruit 500,000 men. So if you lost 31,000, why would you want to recruit 500,000? Now, just on top of that, they reckon the Russians have lost 500,000, and the Russians think the Ukrainians have lost 500,000. Don't forget that the Ukrainians have lost so much in these pointless attacks they've been trying to do on Russia in the past. They're just literally laying over dead bodies all the time. I think that the realistic numbers is anywhere between 300 and 600,000 on each side.
Mhm.
Sadly.
Yeah. The videos I've seen of it, it's a somewhat pathetic war, in a sense that a lot of people are just getting blown up and, not essentially in battle, close to battle. There's a lot of things happening that it isn't like a person could say, I'm going to pull up my rifle and kill that guy before he kills me. They're getting blown up by drones. They're getting blown up by things that they almost have no time to react to. It's just kill the people and kill the people that replace them and kill the people that replace them and keep killing them and killing. It's in a sense, it's insanity.
And don't forget, they're European men. You Russians are European men.
Well, Wikipedia is saying up to 500,000 estimated casualties during the Russian invasion of Ukraine back in 2022. So I don't know if that's from then till now. It sounds like it's literally just at the beginning of it. That's a shit ton of people died, but it doesn't break it down into sides.
Well, yeah, it's the victors were always, but I'm pretty positive, and I like. I watched that Willie I Am and other channels.
Did we lose him?
Possibly. I mean, when he was talking about the victors, I think the only victors in this are all political. That's not it's a little different.
Sorry about that, mate. I come off the air.
It's all right.
What were you saying again? Because I just forgot what I was talking, so I just carried on.
The 500,000 estimated casualties during the invasion in 2022.
So yeah, that's 500 casualties from that then to now. This is what the claim is, that the Russians have lost from the Ukrainian side, and the Russians are sort of saying the same back. But in the Kherson and some of these defences of Bakhmut, we're talking the Ukrainians had taken in estimates. These are independent guys that are trying to tell the truth and get both information and try and find the right answer out of the two. 50 to 70,000 men in one assault over like a month, and he's only admitting to 31. It's like nonsense. You see the funeral, it's continuous.
Yeah, that's
Sadly, the Ukrainians have lost a lot of men from poor leadership, and so has the Russians from poor leadership. Just laying them down again, laying them down again, laying them down again. But they reckon now the Russian army is stronger than it was before it started. But you can't say that about the Ukrainians.
Welsh, do you reckon that the vibe is in your country that you actually are going to be pulled into this war? Because that's definitely not the vibe I'm getting in this country. We're just a piggy bank.
It's not really so much the vibe. Obviously, Gaza's sort of taken the sting out of this and been pushed to the side really with the narrative. But it's definitely, if they fuck around at all and fuck with it, which he's already said it multiple times. He will, defend himself, class it as an attack. It's there, and I don't think you want to call his bluff. So, is it heading that way?
What? Top hole. What's that?
I don't know.
Notification you just got there, bud?
yeah,
Oh,
could be.
Lord.
It's Japanese animation, girls.
No, it's Zelda.
It's close.
Like I said, the sanctions have sort of done the opposite effect. They've affected the European people rather than affecting the Russian economy. Because all they did, they ended up selling their refined oil, crude oil.
Do you know more about the frozen assets that are wanting to be used by Europe to support Ukraine?
Yeah, well, that's just stealing, isn't it?
They what?
I mean, they're just stealing money off. A lot of the time, private business people, and just because everyone has contacts with Putin if the Russians successful. It's a retarded thing to do, and to steal everyone's fucking belongings, even if they are wrong ones. Staying in on that is bollocks.
I was just curious if you heard anything recently because it was fresh in the news for Friday morning podcasts. I was curious if there was any word you've heard about that. Anything fresh?
No, but it is stealing, isn't it? Just because you're successful oligarchs or whatever you want to call them, oligarchs. But looks like stealing from the West to me.
I don't know. It just seems a good way to enrage somebody.
Yeah.
It's also going to. They're not going to ever invest anyone from that country in that again.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, like honestly, like I don't have money to play the game, but could you imagine being a corporation that invests $50 million and then it gets frozen because all of a sudden they don't like your politics? You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Right, or the country of origin where the investment came from.
Yeah, you're a national. You're a national of the country.
That's right. Therefore, they can seize it potentially.
Anyone else, if that happened anywhere else in the world, there'd be fucking murder going on. Well, you can't seize assets of. Can you imagine it?
Mm-hmm.
Just flip it.
Oh, I was gonna ask him if you had a list. He just disappeared on us.
He does that. Yeah, we're after 11 here, so we're getting near the end for sure. Anything you guys wanted to cover in particular?
I mean, I wanted to cover the fast food thing again. Dance wasn't really feeling good, so I didn't want to dig at him too much. But
what are you talking about?
The Super Size Me was called out. He passed away, that guy that did Super Size Me.
Yeah.
And he was called out for fraudulent data for his Super Size Me video, and it just blew my mind because to me it seemed very logical that if you eat garbage food nonstop for a month, that your liver is going to go toxic.
It doesn't though.
But they're calling it out as him being an alcoholic, and there's just variables that are, I don't know. It's still hard for me to accept that it's not going to screw you up.
It will screw you up, but it's not going to show the numbers that he got. You could eat like crap, but live in with a fairly like filtered, a ton of water and exercise, and you could probably do okay with that diet with some minor tweaks to your enzyme numbers. But I think what he did was he was lethargic. He ate McDonald's 3 times a day, and he drank excessive amounts.
Yeah, we don't know how much Jack Daniels went down the hatch. That was never
Right.
part of the equation for me. So
But
dying of cancer and stuff now makes more sense.
he was working towards getting results. So he wasn't trying to help himself. He
Right,
knew that getting bad results would be beneficial for the movie.
right. It was like he did it for clicks, basically, in the era of
Yeah,
the
the earliest version of that. But yeah.
Right. I don't know.
But I'm not taking away from you. Like, I eat McDonald's once and I feel nauseous, let alone.
I
for
definitely
30
don't feel
days.
good. Yeah, I have a
Oh,
cause
yeah.
and effect relationship with that food, so it made sense to me. I do want to pick on the reproduction of that case study that they did over in Norway or whatever it was, where he had his young students that were in his early 20s,
Yeah, I've read about that.
10 years younger, and I'd also challenge that the quality of the food at McDonald's over in Norway is a higher quality with less toxic substances in it than it is in America.
That's right. And also, he allowed the students to eat any low grade junk food. So things were allowed like pizza, and as long as everything fell within a certain fast food category, and it didn't only have to be McDonald's for that study.
I thought it was just caloric intake based. They had to get 6,000 calories in them.
It had to be unhealthy calories.
Okay.
Supposedly.
It's not a perfect copy of the
No,
data
not at all.
poo-poo it at all. It's many variables.
No, I think that data was irrelevant because of the inconsistencies. But I think the data that is relevant is Spurlock with his. First of all, the fact that we don't know how much he was drinking, and we don't know how he was living. There's so many more parameters than just the food as to that could go into this thing.
Right. It's I mean, I don't know what to think.
But it's not like I'm defending McDonald's. It's more like I know I feel like crap. I don't eat McDonald's anymore.
I don't either, really. If someone hands it to me, I'll sometimes eat it, but I still feel terrible. Oh,
Yeah. Because of it, like I don't. There's so many other things I would rather wait for. Like if it's 10 miles to get to a Chick-fil-A, I'd rather anything from there than McDonald's. You know.
I think it's interesting that unanimously between me, you, and Topple, it is Chick-fil-A is the highest quality fast food.
Christian.
And it's Christian.
Yep.
Christian nationalist.
Closes on Sunday.
They're not open Sundays. Yeah.
I mean,
if you get food on Saturday, and they always will give you an extra smile if you say enjoy your day off. No, I'm not kidding, because they're always like, oh yeah, we damn right we will.
And they're like, I need nothing right now. Thank you. Have a nice day.
They work hard as a motherfucker over there. Yeah.
Well, they've also changed the whole business model. They're out everywhere I've been now. They're standing outside with tablets, like getting all the data and throwing it to the inside. And then by the time you get up there, they hand you the bag and you're gone. Like it's fast food.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
But they haven't fallen for the LGBT thing. None of that pride shit around the Chick-fil-A's.
No, there isn't that.
If they do, there's going to be a major shitfest because which church is backing that for that company then?
Methodist.
Is it?
That's the big one
Well,
now.
Methodist United is the one that is accepting that community openly, and there's a shaking amongst the Methodists.
Oh goodness, man.
Yeah, their method is fucked up.
Yeah, they're
Can you imagine
they put
10
the
years
ist.
ago having an opinion like that? Usually, section of
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I gotta say, Chick-fil-A, they went into this new chicken that's like not as clean as the old chicken. That did piss me off. It's got like hormones or something in it now.
Like to save $1 to get more for
Yeah,
less. I feel
save, like make a few bucks extra. Yeah,
that's the beginning of the end, my friend.
could be.
They got so big, and now it's time to sell to China.
Could be. I don't disagree.
you on the
What
back.
what's the fast food of your choice over there, Welshie? What do you go after if you can choose?
Generally, I can't be, but I mean, for like corporations, I like Domino's.
Really?
It's all
Yeah,
right.
I like
Cool.
Domino's.
Hayden used to talk a lot about Greg's. Is Greg's still popular?
Yeah, Greg's is technically the most popular. So they have little franchises all over the UK. They can be pretty small, and they just sell what Greg's sell. So it comes to them either frozen, a lot of it, some of it's half baked, and they just finish them off, and they do really well.
It's a fucking sausage tube or whatever. What do you guys call this fucking thing?
Calzone? What are you talking about?
Sausage roll. That's it.
Oh, a sausage roll. That's a required taste. Acquired? I don't know which one that is.
It's in a tube of bread, and they bake the thing. And I don't know. You guys go fucking bonkers for it over there, but I don't.
You need tomato sauce. I know that. It doesn't go down otherwise.
Yeah, it's sausage and pastry, basically. Really nice.
I remember those and Chico's, but I didn't like those as much. Domino's in Australia was popular because at the college everything was expensive, everything. But every Tuesday night you could get a pizza for $5, and that's like 1/4 the price of a normal pizza.
Sure.
So they loved it. It tasted like cardboard. It was absolutely atrocious, but they ate shit tons of it because it's all I could afford.
English Bottle Cap says fish and chips for him, and then we got
Greg.
He also says Greg's did good value food. Johnny Grammaticus saying
Greg's free.
He's Greg's free, meaning he's probably worked hard to cut the Greg's out of his diet.
What the fuck is Greg's?
Nothing in Greg's is really healthy. So you got corned beef pasty, which is pastry around corned beef. Corned beef is pretty nice. And then you have a steak slice, which is a steak sort of slice pasty. A sausage roll, which is obviously the vegan sausage roll, which is full of additives.
I'm sure it is.
And then they got little bits of like iced cakes and stuff.
So it sounds like a Bojangles with a British twist.
Yeah, a Dunkin' Donuts maybe, or a Honeydew. I don't know, like Bojangles.
But it's mostly the cheapest sort of, sort of chains, fast foods.
Do they have a decent cup of coffee?
It's reasonable. It's a machine one though, because they're quick. And,
I mean, I like a place. I judge any place on a good cup of what we say a cup of Joe, and then you go from there. If the coffee sucks,
but do you actually in England still make coffee, or is it instant coffee?
Yeah. It's proper coffee. It's brewed.
Oh, okay. Wow. Surprising, actually.
So it's say £3.30 English would get you a bacon and egg roll and a coffee in Greg's. So
how much?
$3.30, probably about $5.
That's pretty cheap. If it's not for the dollar, I don't even know if they have the dollar menu at McDonald's anymore. All of it's expensive now. It's not even like a quick treat. It's like It
Yeah, a cup of
costs
coffee and a
It-
breakfast sandwich with meat would be
$7.
seven at bare minimum, maybe
Right.
8 or 9.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a
So-
bacon and eggs. So it's like 3 rations of bacon, an egg, and a bap with a coffee.
When you
$3.30.
say bacon, is it actually the strips of bacon, or is it like
back bacon, back bacon.
So
Like a-
that's back bacon is
Canadian bacon type deal?
little tenderloin pieces.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
still
okay.
very good. It's
I
a
guess
lot
the-
less fat than ours.
The Bob's Big Boys, I think it is, or IHOP has bacon that they candy coat with maple syrup. Like it's like candy coated with sugar on the outside. I was like, this is so dangerously delicious, man. I couldn't have this on hand.
Just for a quick bacon tutorial,
Nice.
I believe in the UK they call back bacon is what we would call tenderloin or Canadian bacon. And then they call streaky bacon is more like pork belly, the fatty bacon strips that we cook fry up here in the pan.
That's belly. That's from the belly, the bacon
That's
strip.
pork belly, yeah.
Okay.
You've heard of gammon steaks, haven't you?
Gammon is ham, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah.
I'm not as
Sure.
familiar with the pork cuts.
You gotta get familiar.
No, I'm not. I believe that pork meat is pretty damaging to the body, so it's a guilty pleasure. It's not something I go after on purpose.
But it's good as accomplishment to Christmas lunch, where you can have that later on as well.
I'm all about the turkey, man. I honestly love turkey.
Try it.
Turkey,
Not if it's cooked right,
Yeah,
but I also don't eat the white meat. I like the dark meat, so
Oh,
dark meat.
yeah, so it's
No.
more delicious.
I mean, yeah. I mean, turkey is frankly boring in my opinion.
Dude, the aphid lip talks about deep frying a turkey. I'd love to try. That's like a big ass chicken wing, probably at that point.
It's delicious. I've had it. The problem is you have literally this giant bucket of oil afterwards. And inevitably what happens is eventually you'll just walk to a
Storm
secluded
grate?
Well, no, we just went to a secluded area out in the middle of, the forest and poured it down because you're like, what the fuck are we going to do with all this fryer later oil? It's outside. You have this giant turkey fryer. When we did it, we fried everything we could think of just because we had it going. Shrimp, we did this, we did that, and da-da-da.
I've never had deep fried shrimp. What does that
It's
taste like?
incredible. It's
Okay.
great. It's all good. But once that day is over, then you're left with this giant vat of
Like 5 gallons.
of tainted oil, which you're like, this had a lot of different meats in it. I don't know what to do with it.
So like
Yeah,
the communal dump spot in the forest is all, there's no growth there.
Just oil spot.
It's an oil slick. Looks like a post-apocalyptic forest.
Yeah, it's awesome tasting. You inject it with various hot sauces and spices before.
I've seen that infomercial with the guy that the set it and forget it guy, where you like jab it with this thing and it pushes the garlic under their skin.
Mhm.
I'd set it and forget it if I had one. Totally. My meat consumption would probably go through the roof.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, we got Bottle Cap is a meat oil expert, so he's giving me the all clear. Meat oil soon biodegrades. Thank you, English. Now I feel better.
Right. I'm sure other animals and microorganisms are stoked to get lathered with it.
Oh, Donna says yeah. In an oil. Oh, her first question was an oil-less fryer, which I think we call an air fryer, right?
That sounds right. I've never cooked in one.
Never done it.
But
I
most
hear-
oilless fryers, in order to make it taste good, you still got to put oil in them. So that's kind of a bit of a deception there.
Right, a couple tablespoons to get a crisp or whatever going.
Right. Otherwise it's just veganish, and then it's like, man.
Yeah, I know. Wife wants one, which she says right here in her comment. But now I'm concerned with too much counter space, too many
You gotta
appliances.
set it and forget it. Air fryers are going to lose their fame, and set it and forget it's going to come back. And you can have your rotisserie going in the background, go to work, and come home to a kitchen fire. I mean, a delicious meal.
Oh man, no, they're talking. There's a separate thing, an air fryer, and this thing. You know, if
I've
this
seen
happens,
that. I think we have one in our kitchen, but you like can't really use it. It's not. At least it's a prototype or something. It's not. It doesn't work correctly.
does it pop the breaker whenever you turn it on or
You
whatever?
can't actually put oil in that one. It's just the way. It's like a little convection or not convection oven. It's like a compact oven that has all these different settings and air. It just like pushes air through it faster than when you bake with air. I don't know. It just seems gimmicky.
Right. It's essentially a convection oven, but on
On
steroids
crack. Yeah.
or crack. Yes,
Or whatever is the flavor of the week. I don't know.
exactly. Well, I think we'll bring this baby to an end.
All right. I'm glad that we got to it this week. I know life happens, but also at the same time, not much happened in the world to talk about, I don't think. So it was pretty cruisy and just nostalgic this week.
There you go. There you go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start removing these guys. Topple, thank you for being here on camera. You were the best. Based Welshman, see you later, buddy. RW, do you want to X yourself out or
You can kick me. Use your powers.
see you later, my man? Thank you for being here. Last Dance, you were the best. Hope you recover quickly from your shot. Jib jab. Aphid Lip, you're the man. Really appreciate you being here. And everybody else who's been here in the chat. You've all been wonderful. Donnie Yarbo, Cup of Tea, my bro, Mr. Kill, good to see you, man. Smoke Wife, love you, baby. See you soon. Donna, everybody. Mr. Kill, Cup of Tea. Yeah, you guys had a great conversation. It looks like it went back. Johnny Grammaticus, good to see you, man. English Bottle Cap, EB. What up, kid? Standing up for Greg's. Thank you for everybody for being here. And anyone else who I didn't mention, you know I love you guys. You're all the best. These headphones are fucking gigantic. Like Princess Leia. Like, what the hell? Night all. Love y'all. You've been great. Let's keep positive thoughts going on in the world. I do enjoy how some people here, we all have different thoughts, different ways of thinking. But we're all human beings. And I always want us all to get along. In a great sense, humankind needs to get along to exist. War is never the way. Peace and love, friendship, reaching out to others, and creating bridges of communication. That's the way to go. So going forward, let's all do that. You don't have to change your principles for anybody else. Stay true to who you are, but be friendly to other human beings. And on that note, be well. Take care. We'll see you next week.